Sick of the same old radio sound? Then you need vibrant radio. Spice up your life. Spice FM 98.8 FM.
Timing, because one of the things that we'll talk about during the show today, we've got a packed show. I'll tell you about in a moment.
Go on then, tell us
but we're also going to talk about Toastmasters, because you and I came with me to Morpeth, Castle Communicators
to
Morpeth
the
on
Methodist,
Tuesday.
the community church and community service.
That's centre in Morpeth, yes. Howard Road, Morpeth.
Beautiful.
They meet every second and fourth Tuesday. We had a good meeting on Tuesday. You came up. You've done a video of about a talk that I did,
yes.
I think, which is out on Facebook. We'll have a
people
have a look
Facebook.
at that.
Yes.
We'll send that out later on. But one of the things you learn in Toastmasters is timing, isn't it? If you're going to do a 7-minute speech or a 2-minute table topics, or as I did, a 15-minute education speech,
because all the time you have on the planet is between your birth and your death.
Yes.
How you manage it is the question.
Exactly.
Do you fritter it away?
But it's almost, I mean, one of the things that in speaking in general, I get involved with Professional Speaking Association as well, which I'm a member of, and professionals, one of the key things you have to do is get the timing right, because if you're booked for a big conference and they say you're doing 45 minutes, you can do 45 minutes.
Timing is very important, whether you're cracking a joke,
yes,
or whether you're doing a surgical operation,
yes. Oh, absolutely,
or you're doing other very exciting activities. It's the timing.
And it's very difficult to gauge. I think you see people doing talks where they think they've done 2 minutes and they've done 5, or they've done 10 and they've
but when you're excited and worried,
that's it.
I mean, even now when someone as seasoned as you and slightly less seasoned as me who go to Speakers Club, you're quite excited.
Yes.
Yeah, and there's no clock on the other wall, which I think there should be. I mean, you've done right there, because you got 3 colored cards, yes, like football grounds. At our Speakers Club that I used to be on, a light comes on.
Yeah.
So you're speaking blindly for 6 minutes. You don't know how the head is going, and suddenly the green light comes on. Half a minute orange.
Yeah.
Then you start winding up, but you may not have gone through your points.
Well, this is the importance of practice, isn't it, with speaking, because you really should be doing that testing before you get to the speech, so that you're ready, and you should know that. I mean, one of the key things about speaking is, and you learn this through Toastmasters, is the structure of your speech. You have an open, a middle, and a close. And the key thing
so
is...
So you say, I'm going to tell you about mosquitoes.
Let's tell.
You tell them about mosquitoes.
And then you tell them
you say, I've told you about mosquitoes.
But the thing is that you get to you should be in a point when you've practiced to be doing that final thing with less than 30 seconds left. Or you should know that you should be starting.
So what are your flaws that you want to work on? I'll tell you mine first.
Go on.
My biggest thing, I don't pause enough. Because it's only when my mouth is shut.
That's quite rare, isn't it?
But it never happens. That people process what's going on.
Can we tell them about the journey to Morpeth? Because due to your mouth not shutting, we ended up in Scotland.
Well, I'm such a fascinating guy. So pause is one of the most important things I have to learn.
Yes.
Because I live in England. Indians speak very fast and we talk like this all the time. Yes. I mean, if you try to copy the news, you talk in this speed.
Geordies are quite
because
fast
there's almost that the world is going. But important things can be said slowly.
Exactly.
And when you pause, people think that's one thing.
But it's getting the right length of pause, because and that again is something you practice. For anybody that wants to develop this is Toastmasters is ideal. There's obviously the club we're talking about here, Castle Communicators in Morpeth. The original club that I started in 2009 is a Newcastle thriving club now called A1 Speakers.
So that's 6 years now.
Yes, 6 years. They've been a juries in on the first and
third Mondays.
So anybody's welcome to go along as a guest. You go along as free as a guest, see what it's like. People get the idea of Toastmasters being stuck up and red coats, and it couldn't be further from the
truth. It has nothing to do with toast or bread or butter.
Nothing to do with toast, bread, or telling people that the dinner's ready.
Yes,
and my lords, ladies and gentlemen, never get said. There is nobody ever starts a speech.
My
lords, ladies and gentlemen, break silence. Your Toastmaster. Never ever said.
Okay. So I was telling about pause is one thing I'm working on. The one thing I have succeeded in working on. It's so easy for me go and bamboozle everyone with medical science.
Oh yes.
So I choose topics that are away from science and slightly risky. I choose topics like racism.
But never. Have you talked about racism?
Yeah, at the other club.
I've never heard you about racism.
I even risk into risky subjects, risk subjects.
Well, it challenges the mind when
Exactly.
you provoke, doesn't it? That's
Exactly.
because if you just brush it under the carpet, we're not going to talk about racism. Same with disability. We've talked about we can't talk about disability. That it's taboo and it's best to talk about it.
No,
and
I
get
think
people's
it may
feelings
not
and
be
views
polite
out.
to crack sexual jokes in front of the bishop's wife.
Yes.
It may not be opportune. But equally, you gauge the social setup, you find out what it is, and sometimes I go totally against it, I mean, I won a prize through the other club, which I've become totally disloyal to because it's too far away. And, I get sick of a group, the same people talking the same thing. What the hell am I killing myself for? Loyalty I have to a human being. If I'm in love, that's it. But I can't go to the same speakers club and find the same people talking the same subject. And the one I went to...
Because you've been going there for a lot of years, haven't you?
But 3 years is a long time in my life.
Well, the turnover in a lot of speakers clubs, I mean, we've been going, as you mentioned, there 6 years. But I think what part of the fun in my involvement in speakers is to develop more people.
So in development is
so
change.
It's different. You get new members coming in all the time to all the clubs. We're starting new clubs. The A1 was the original. Followed from that was a club in Durham, which I was involved with a little bit to help them get going. There's another club in Sunderland called Talk and Shop, meet on the first and third Thursdays at Fulwell.
So you purposely organize them so you can go daily to a club.
I don't do that, but I think
whoever does it's a bit like the Alcoholics Anonymous. You can go to Waka one, then you can go to the Benwell one, then you can go. I'm just imagining. I have never had an alcohol problem.
You can go every night. Just about every night of the week, and there's clubs.
Yes.
What I've talked about the other night.
That's why I mentioned the Alcoholics Anonymous. That if you want to give up alcohol, you can get addicted to Alcoholics Anonymous. It's wrong way to say alcoholics, it sounds bad. The other thing about Speakers Club is you develop a vocabulary. By that I don't mean you know the word. It's actively using it.
Yes.
There are many words in poetry, engineering, that are not my fields, that I understand. But it's a bit like coming from India. We can all understand English. But when we talk, it's very hard for you to catch on because the idiom is wrong. I put the verb in the wrong place. You understand?
Yes.
You understand?
Exactly what you say.
Yeah. So you have to catch up. You've got a very well-spoken gentleman.
I'm not going to even mention it until I've said what my thing that I'm going to.
Oh yeah, tell us about your flaws
because I have
that you want to work
on.
on.
It's a visual one with me. I do things with my lips. So when you look at the video, I purse my lips. I think like that. When I've finished sentences. So I need to work on that. So the beauty of that is that the video you've taken, and we also will look to develop. Other speakers do will video them, so it's often to look at it yourself. You're getting
I only do it.
That's a one.
But tell me why people in England, particularly who are in Speakers Club, learning to do public speaking, are so bloody scared of being videoed. What the heck?
I haven't got a clue. I think it's
what kind of nonsense is this? Forget your club. I went to the 280 people in Bristol. Mm-hmm. These are the top speakers of the country for the Tyneside Speakers Association, blah, 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 blah. 7 people came on the stage. 5 of them I had to convince them that it is okay to video. And they're not 16-year-old girls who I'm going to curb, crawl or groom, These are fat, ugly people who are speaking well. I'm videoing them, and the buggers mind,
You see that they've escaped from prison or something like that. So is that not it is?
I said to a fellow, I'm going to video you. And what are you going to do with it? He's a Glaswegian. I said,
is that Glaswegian actually?
Sort of. Some stupid Scottish accent. So the guy says to me, you'll put it on YouTube. I said, yes, but I'm very ugly. I said, that you are.
Yes.
But you speak well.
Yes.
If anyone deprecates themselves, I go one step further and put the knife in. Mm-hmm. Then they'll never do it again.
Yes. Well, I think it's the whole idea is you're boosting people. If you can get the confidence out there, people
so the Speakers Club is not about speaking, really.
It's confidence.
It's about expression. It's about learning. It's about confidence.
Yes.
And I think if you don't come...
leadership as well, because you can take on roles of committee roles in the club to help it to grow. You can take on tasks.
No, but most people do not like these roles because they can't speak in public.
Oh, yes.
They're scared. Absolutely. They can write in public.
The thing is that the beauty of speakers clubs, Toastmasters, is that you've got a chance to practice because you become friends. If you're going regularly, the people that are there become friends, and you're more comfortable speaking in friends. You get that confidence that you're more relaxed and you'll be prepared. And that's the best place to practice. If you've got a job where you're going to be speaking in the outside world, then it's for your job, or if you're gonna speak more publicly, or do a speech at a wedding, perhaps, or something like that. It's best to practice amongst friends, where they'll give you.
So it's like a workshop.
It is. Yeah. It's self-help. You're going back to the Alcoholics Anonymous. It's not exactly the same, but the concept of people there helping each other to become better communicators.
And openly saying that there was a chap who
stammers. Well, yes,
stammers.
Alan's done really well. He's been involved with
and
the clubs for several years, and he's really improved.
I learned to be patient with him.
Yes.
It's like the King's Speech thing. Yes. It's all right to watch a DVD and have a tear in your eye.
Yes.
But to watch...
Anyway, we've got a guest.
The best purpose of speaking is to listen. And we've got someone who's been quietly listening and who's been taught... Speak when you're asked to. So
now I'll introduce our guest for today, and I think we've got another one coming, hopefully, in a while. But it's a very special week for this guy, and he's been on the show before. You'll recognise him when he does open his mouth.
Yeah, but first he has to wash his mouth with soap because he's been to the BBC.
BBC, he has been to the BBC.
Shame on you! Shame on you! Shame on you!
So
okay, carry on,
Phil. Our next guest as well.
Yeah, okay, carry on.
Phil is going to tell you what he's going to tell you, and alongside Phil, who is going to
what do you think? This is Clapham Junction or what? Look at all these characters just barging in.
Ricky as well.
You don't invite the guys; they just walk in. What do they think this is?
Our other guest, which was expected, is Hazel Ditchburn from the Calvert Trust.
Okay, what we'll have to do is
Tricky Mickey's just come in.
Tricky Mickey is Rick Mickwood, isn't it?
Rick Mickwood, or
is he Mick Rickwood? Or Rick Mickwood?
Yes.
Okay, anyway,
would you get a chance? Which is Sunday, because it's a great day, because it's the Great North Run, and Hazel's here, and my little team running to support the Calvert Trust. We've been raising money for the Calvert Trust all year. But that event is even more special this year because my son and I started a business about a year ago. Steve has been involved, he's been helping us. My eldest son has cerebral palsy, he's disabled, he's a quadriplegic, and we want to improve accessibility for people like Tom at an affordable level. So we have developed, generated a couple of products which will allow people like Tom to have improved access to beaches, access to all terrain, even the snow, because a couple of years ago he was stranded for a month at his home in Long Framlington. So we are going to push him. We have a prototype. It's not a prototype, but it is. It's a finished version, but it's the first to be seen on the roads. Tom's going to be on it. It's called Nomad. It's our second product, and we're calling it Nomad Desert. His wheelchair will actually fit on it, and we will go 13.1 miles with him. In addition to this week, I'm looking at Steve because he's probably going to tell me off because I have been on the radio a few times this week. What am I meant to say that's special this week besides this lovely lady sitting next to me?
Well, you're also going to go to Blythe on Saturday with the same device.
Okay, he's prompted me. I should have remembered. We have a trial. One of the areas for Nomad are beach wheelchair schemes, which are growing in popularity around the UK. I don't think the summer's over, although I keep being told it is, and this morning I'm told that Christmas is on its way, which is really quite frowning.
It's every year, Christmas.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Oh, I forgot about that. So we have been approached by a number of beach wheelchair schemes around the UK. I'm off to Southend in a few weeks' time to show Nomad to them, but on Saturday on Blythe South Beach, not the North, we've got a trial. They are generating a beach scheme, and they've invited Adventure Mobility, which is the company that's responsible for Nomad, to come along and show them how both our Nomad Tundra and Nomad Desert function. And they've got up to now probably about 15 end users who have a range of special needs and disabilities who are going to come along for the 2-hour stint. So if you've got nothing to do, even if it's raining, please pop along. South Beach, Blythe.
And I think you're coming, Doc, with the old camera.
Yes, I have nothing to do, so I'll come. I'm actually cancelling my Saturday show, I'll have you know. For guys who go to the BBC.
Right, yes.
I have forgiven him, sorry. Okay, so tell us about the Calvert Trust then.
Alright, so Calvert Trust, we're up in Kielder. We're an outdoor activities centre, and we're achieving some of the similar things that Phil is trying to achieve with his Nomad contraption. Is that the right phrase?
No.
Device.
Product.
But So at Calvert Trust, we help people with disabilities to take part in outdoor activities such as abseiling.
Things that are normally not expected from them.
Normally not
They're expected to go to the library, go to the church, go to school, and that's it.
Absolutely. So
you're taking them outward bound.
Yeah, we're taking them out of sort of everyday situations. Getting them abseiling off of our climbing tower, going on our king swing, and really, essentially, it's helping them to achieve things that they didn't think was possible.
What was possible because our mind was blocked.
Mm-hmm.
And you're sitting next to Steve, who was coming down the side of abseiling the side.
Yes, well, I haven't done it at
Tyne
Calvert.
Bridge.
I have been to Calvert a few years ago. There was lots of activities. There was climbing frames. I didn't do that inside. Is that still there?
Yeah.
So it's a great site and available for people to go, and you can stay there. There's log cabins and things. So it's a great centre. There are others around the country. I think Hazel's that right?
Yeah,
In the Lakes.
Yeah, there's
District
one in the Lake District and also in Exmoor as well.
So how do you see this product, this Nomad thing?
In terms of
For
Calvert Trust,
helpful people.
yeah,
people.
I mean, really, we've actually had a prototype up to the centre, which is fantastic. Our activities team got to have a look at it and sort of see whether it's something that we might be able to use in the future. And it really, up at Kielder, we've got our Lakeside Way, which is a really fantastic route which runs right around the whole of Kielder Water, and it's ideal for getting people out into the forest. It's a really, really, really great product.
So places where a normal wheelchair, which needs a
May
smooth
struggle,
surface
yeah.
or struggle,
May
or the
struggle
person
and-
pushing maybe really
Definitely, yeah.
very
definitely
hard
helps.
pushed or pulled, whatever.
Yeah, beneficial to both carer and
Yes.
individual using
Yeah.
the wheelchair.
I'm very excited with this, particularly the new model. I'm hoping I'm maybe going to go in this afternoon down in Long Sands, because you're going down there with Tom. Going down this afternoon.
Yeah, meet him there about 3:15.
I'm hoping to go down as well.
So what's your excitement about?
Well, I've never been in the sea before.
No, that's okay. but is it about you being able to?
Well, that's one.
Get into it
the
yourself.
fact that I can do it.
Yes.
But the beauty of this one is that it's flexible enough to mean that you don't have to transfer out of one chair to another.
Yes.
That's the sort of models that are out there now.
Yes,
There's various models that you can buy now, costing thousands of pounds.
6,000.
Upwards, £5,000-6,000. The thing about those chairs is you've got to transfer from your chair into that chair. Now that's a difficult task. for
Because you're
everybody.
used to your chair.
You're used to your chair.
It
My
fits
chair,
your size,
my
your-
chair has got the right size for my backside, the right length for my legs, the right height above the foot plates. There's a cushion that protects me from pressure sores.
Yes,
the back
yes.
rests right. That's important. And Tom, I think, particularly has a same sort of need as most people have. That their need is to be comfortable in their own wheelchair. If you've then got to transfer into a wheelchair that is not comfortable, you're first of all not going to
Steve,
do it.
when we change from one office chair to another, when we
Yes, it's the
change from
same.
one car to another, it's
Yeah,
so difficult.
different.
So it must be so much more difficult because you're more in that wheelchair than I'm in my car.
And in some cases, for some people with disabilities, one, it's uncomfortable, but also you don't know it's uncomfortable because we don't have feeling. You know, you're likely to, if you're
right.
one of the things you can get leg pain, you can get pressure sores
Without knowing.
You wouldn't know because you don't have the feeling. So it's
Wow.
important. So the great thing about the, in fact, both models, because the other, the Tundra, the existing one, is also a little bit flexible in as much as that you clip the chair onto the device, not contraption. Device is all right, Philip. It's spitting
Product.
balls.
He likes the word product. He's a businessman. He likes product.
Device. You clip this up. The only thing is you've still got to get out first. So,
Yes.
so there is a degree of transfer. But once you transfer back in, you're back into your own chair. But the new model, I've been involved with Phil and Rod, who has also been on the show in the past, Tom's other brother. I've been involved with them, helping them develop it over the years. It's been really exciting. What we've got now, because I was in it at the factory last week, fantastic thing, and I drove on it and sat on it, and it's marvellous. And it's going to be
Can
great.
you not
And
put yourself on the
that's
device
exactly
yourself?
well, you can't. You're not going
wheel
to be able to
yourself
use so. Somebody will have to push,
But there's a ramp there.
There's a ramp on the back, and you'll be able to be pushed onto the chair. It's adjustable for different widths of chair and lengths of chair. Your chair's clamped onto the device, and away we go.
See,
and
what-
we're pushing into the sea, and I shall go to Norway, pushed
But
by
the-
Phil, because
Okay.
he does these adventurous things.
See,
He's done, as well as doing all these hair-brazen
Yeah.
simple jobs like North Run, 13.1 miles.
Yeah.
That's a bit tame. Come on, Philip, tell us about the other slightly longer journey you've done earlier this year.
Yes.
Oh, also
The,
for the Calvert
the cycle
Trust.
thing,
Yeah.
where you nearly died.
Really sad. So my youngest son Alex and I wanted to help the Calvert Trust for all the obvious reasons. So we decided that we would cycle from Chicago to Santa Monica. Yes, cycle, not on a motorbike, but on a push bike. So it's around about, it's meant to be 2,500 miles. By the time we started and clocked the finish, it's around about 2,480 miles. Lots of interesting things happened. Yes, we were almost taken out by 2 tornadoes. Yes, I have to say BA did lose our bikes. They left them in Newcastle and then in Heathrow. Mind you, denying me responsibility for having lost them, but they lost them. We had our trailer stolen for a couple of days, but state troopers brought it back to us. What should have been desert wasn't. They had more rain over the previous 2 months before we got there than they had in 10 years. So there was no dust, but what we did have was about 25% improvement in temperature. So between places like Oklahoma and Albuquerque, average temperature during the day should have been about 110. It was about 140. So slightly warmer. We were almost burnt to death in California, going down into the valley because of the fires. What more do I need to say? We broke the law, arrested a couple of times in California for jumping the freeway, but we got to Santa Monica, and if you'd like to really hear the story, then go to our Facebook page, which is Phil's Yearly Challenge.
Phil's Yearly Challenge.
Yeah.
So the North runs Donald.
Well,
Drop in the ocean, isn't it?
Although you haven't, you're going to push Tom on,
Gonna push Tom.
in the Nomad, hopefully.
In
on Sunday.
Nomad Desert, yes.
Desert, fantastic.
well, I'd like to congratulate you on many counts. One, your device is about 1/12 the price. If you bring your own wheelchair,
the price,
price-wise.
if you bring your, it's under £1,000.
Yeah,
That's
so
what
it's
we're
about
aiming at.
tenth the price of a £6,000,
absolutely,
something
yeah.
like that. That's
Yes.
one. Secondly, you're the designer of it in not only in UK, in Newcastle, which is a very inventive place. Thirdly, you're manufacturing it here, not in Beijing.
Yes, that's right.
So there's a lot of layers I want to congratulate you on. Seriously.
The design is a contribution from Rod, one of my sons.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
also
yeah.
Steve. is
But
contributing
by
as
you,
well.
I mean your gang.
Yeah, the gang. Yes, the gang.
And I also must congratulate you because up till now you haven't cracked a single PJ.
I really am holding it back. These jokes are waiting to come out.
I was thinking that he didn't do it on the BBC either. I thought
Oh, I was
it's
told
got to
not
be
to.
a record.
They wouldn't have him again if he cracked one of those. But his jokes get worse every day.
Oh, they are. They're terrible.
No, the only reason they're saying that, everybody, is because they know the answer but can't remember the answer. So if you tell somebody a joke and they don't know, they get really cross when you tell them the answer. That's why they get
because
cross.
they actually knew the answer.
They actually knew the answer.
All right, okay. So Calvert Trust, so how does one contact the Calvert Trust?
You can visit our website,
Which
you
is?
can go to www.calvert-trust.org.
Calvert, C-A-L-V-E-R-T.
CALVERT.
Yes,
You
Calvert
can just
Trust.
Google Calvert Trust and we'll come up.
Sure.
We come up at the top all of the time, which is
Okay.
fantastic.
And is there any charge for it when people go?
Yes, people do pay to come up, but we try as much as possible, really through fundraising, to keep the prices affordable.
Okay.
Really, just because of the nature of the people.
And
who
how many
are
people go
coming to
through your
the
books
centre.
in a week or month or year?
Well, every year we have about 5,000 people who
5,000
come visit
people?
the centre. Yeah,
Wow.
every year.
Wow.
Every year.
That's a massive number.
Yeah, especially
and what's the
this time of year. It's nice
What
and
is the
busy.
farthest distance they come from to you?
Well, mainly people come from across the northeast, but we have people coming from as far as Cheltenham or even overseas. We've had some people coming across from Ireland.
Because the Kielder Forest itself has its own draw, isn't it?
Definitely. I mean, it's got the largest man-made reservoir in the whole of Northern Europe and the largest forest in the whole of Northern Europe. So it's a really beautiful place, very breathtaking, very tranquil.
You got an observatory as well.
Yeah, they've got
Because
the observatory.
you're not light polluted.
Yes, we have to keep our lights on site very, very low, and we've got to really protect the kind of dark sky status.
What are you doing about the midges?
Oh yes. No, when I went, we did archery, and I've never seen so many midges.
What, you were shooting midges with a bow and arrow?
There was actually more hit the midges than they did the dartboard, the target. But
Brilliant. There's only a few more weeks of midges. They sort of start to
Are they
leave the
seasonal?
area.
Are they
Yeah,
seasonal?
definitely they're seasonal.
Okay.
So maybe May, June time
Okay.
till
And you still
September.
you still have your steamers, those boats that go out and take
Yes,
people out.
the ferry still
And
goes.
do you
across
still
the
have Morris
water.
dancers coming out?
Morris
Morris
dancers.
dancers. When I went with my boys were small, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
we had lots of Morris dancers with
Oh.
the bells and the tingles and the.
They may be still in the forest somewhere. I don't know. I've not seen them.
I think they've probably been airlifted out by the midges.
I was going to say they've probably been eaten by the midges, if not airlifted.
No, honestly, I really thought Morris dancing was really part of the setup of the kids. Maybe it was Morris dancing season that I went in.
Maybe.
All right.
Maybe.
I've been
Is there,
twice.
is there a season for Morris dancing? Is there?
Yes,
There shouldn't be
summer.
one.
Yeah, May 1st to May
May
4th when it
1st,
starts.
I was
Okay.
going to say around May time.
Ah, you've got some knowledgeable people
learn
here. Like
things.
I learn every day. Like, okay, all right. So we are very grateful for your dropping in, and I'll see you on Saturday between 1 and 3 filming.
Yes.
Yes, and I hopefully have teamed up with Lalit Sood for filming bits of the Great North Run.
All right.
So if I have some idea where you are at what time, I'll of course be in a car with a camera. I can't be running around with a massive camera, but I'll be coming and shooting, and it's got a very powerful lens. I hope to catch you
Okay.
and Tom.
Yeah, I suppose the most obvious place is when you come off the Gateshead Road past the stadium and you go towards South Shields.
Mm.
The road coming up the other way is open, which is the dual carriageway.
Is that White Maple way?
Yeah, that's going to be the easiest because it's fairly flat as well. People
Okay.
can stop. That's the sort of safest.
Okay, I'll
place.
phone you and work
We'll
out the
organise
details.
You could
Yeah.
set up a tracker on your smartphone.
I can do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you could
got
do
trackers on my phone. Put it
We
on
could
your
set up a tracker so you can see where Nomad and the team will be at all
Oh,
time.
that's a real
Oh.
I
heavy
have a
Modern
tracker.
technology.
technology, yeah.
And you're an IT man and you never thought about it.
Well,
Shame.
I don't want to broadcast.
First he goes
it.
to the BBC, then he doesn't know what a tracker is.
Well,
Never.
it's just that my wife tracks me, so I have both a tracker on my car as well as on my mobile.
Doesn't want to be found.
So
Has she
yeah,
got a
I'm
multiple
used to-
screen in the bedroom seeing where you
all
are?
over the place. At work, she can look at her smartphone and see where I am. But
She doesn't think
noticeably,
he's here now. He's left it somewhere else.
She turns hers off. That's interesting. isn't
Naturally.
it? Interesting.
Naturally.
Interesting. And all I get is, well, didn't work. No, you've got to manually. turn it
Yes,
off anyway.
yes.
So yeah, that's a good idea. We'll use the tracker. You
Okay.
can track me as well. Can't you?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll be
You're-
busy running though, so.
Oh
Are you-
yes,
are you
you're
running
right.
as well?
I'm running, yes.
Ah,
Well, I'm hoping to go down to the end and help you out. I haven't been given specific duties. I took part in the race last year
You did?
alongside the previous version of
Yes.
the Nomad, which was it's great fun for anybody to do the. You said this when you were on the BBC this
Ah.
morning. It doesn't matter whether you're a runner or not, how fit you are. You can walk it, And there are people. By the time you get to South Shields, you see all these athletes, the experts running, and they've done it in
They're running
40
back.
minutes.
that is
and-
one end of it.
that's one end of it. But
And,
if you going up towards Marsden at 3 hours later, people are shuffling along, zimmer
that's-
frames and all sorts
But
of
that's
things.
what it's about, isn't it?
It is. It's
the health of
participation.
everyone.
Absolutely, it's
And-
fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, the
There's-
competitors compete. Come from Israel, come from South Africa. That's fine.
And you said
But
it,
it's you and me that it's about, really.
yes, you said it on there this morning. I thought it was fantastic, and it's true. Is that people are giving you money from the side of the road, and it's the poor people who can't afford to give you the money that are giving you the money, and they're urging you on. I was actually wearing the wrong shirt last year. I had Tom's number on, didn't I?
You did.
So I was, come on, Tom. Because I was a late entry and I was substitute, so I didn't have Steve written on the front. So
Okay,
I was
okay.
getting shouted at as, come on, Tom. So the enthusiasm there all the time, but there's always people throwing you money and cakes and other stuff. And
Very people are generous.
Very people orientated.
Yes.
And the Northeast is.
it is
Fantastic.
fantastic.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. So so that's the great events for you, Phil.
Yes.
And as I said, we want more people to come on Wednesday, on Friday,
Saturday.
to Blythe. Hopefully the weather's going to be good for
It
that.
will
as
be
well.
good.
It will be good.
And
Yeah.
even if it's not, we will be there.
We will be there because rain.
There's nothing called bad
you're
weather,
gonna get
but
wet in the sea,
there's
you
nothing
might as
called
well-
bad weather but bad clothes.
Yes.
I like that one.
Well, I think
I'm coming from India. I have to learn something about it.
but certainly going forward, we want to be kept in touch. The website's there, adventuremobility.co.uk. adventuremobility.co.uk. There's contact details on there. If anybody's interested anywhere in the country in getting more involved, because we want to make this machine take off big style.
Yeah.
He'd probably know and Phil, he'll be looking for the take-off version next. They will be wanting to put wings on it and propellers and
Why
things,
not?
and will be flying.
Why not?
But you know what he's
He
like,
thought
so watch this space.
Like the jetpack thing, people are on the backs. I'm going to
That's
actually
it,
fly
yes.
personally, like.
Yes, I can see it happening, but I'm honoured to have been involved in the last year or so on helping them develop it, because it is something that's really exciting. And
it's been a great contribution.
Thank you.
Steve has really made a difference in lots of different ways. The fact, obviously, Steve is in a wheelchair as one aspect, but his enthusiasm and passion to want to enable people who have far less, it comes over very strongly. So really appreciate all your input.
Steve is the #1 wheelchair man in the world.
So I believe.
Unfortunately, we believe it too. Okay, so we'll wrap up that segment, and we'll let you go and see you both soon. Come and talk about the Calvert Trust in more detail. About
yes, you're welcome.
And bring us videos. So whatever we are doing is being videoed just now, by the way. Smile.
No, I'm on camera.
Yeah, you're there all the time.
This whole time I was totally unaware.
No, but that's the best way to do it. So then we edit it and make it nice and put in bits on Facebook, because Facebook only takes 45 minutes, by the way. So yeah, I mean, I like promoting local things. Like Calvert Trust is quite a big, and the King Forest is something amazing.
Yeah. We talk on the Thursday show, Hazel. We always talk health-related things, wheelchair-related things, disability-related things. So you're very welcome.
Very welcome.
Tell us more about Calvert Trust.
Absolutely,
you can bring in some users if they want to say how much, or some of your volunteers and workers, and make a whole show on Calvert Trust.
Yes, we could do that.
Brilliant. I'd love to do that. Yeah, definitely.
Super.
Thank you very much.
Okay then.
So they've got your email address. I can send you the link once it's all up. Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Steve Show. This is the Anand Steve Show. This is the Anand Steve Show.
We're here on Thursday, here every Thursday, talking to you on Spice FM.
Dun, 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 dish. We re-invite our friend back from a million miles away to tell us his absolutely poor, rotten, horrible joke.
What do you call a pile of kittens?
What do you call a pile of kittens?
A litter.
No, a meowton. Did you hear all those groans? And that was simply because it was an obvious answer. No one knew. That's why people get cross. One more to go. This is a really tricky one. Okay?
I'm not coming down myself to Jimmy, mate.
What do you call a cat that wins a dog show?
A cat who wins a dog show?
Yeah, people do that. They repeat the joke to buy.
Yeah, but how can that be? How can a cat win a dog show?
Don't question it. Just think about it.
Okay.
What do you call a cat that wins a dog show?
Don't know.
A catastrophe. A cat has trophy.
And you had
brilliant. I've got more.
No, we don't have that much time. Bye. Okay, a quick changeover, and we've got new guests in the studio.
Tricky Mickey, Ricky,
Mickey.
Friend of the show, regular on the show, and his sporty's good lady Fiona in to see us.
Hello, Fiona. Welcome.
Good morning, everybody.
Good afternoon, actually. How long have you been in?
I sit corrected.
Sit corrected. So tell us about yourself, Fiona. I know nothing about you except your name is Fiona. Fiona.
Yeah. Okay. I grew up in Lancashire, but my teenage years were spent in Whitley Bay. After Whitley Bay, I went to university and taught for about 5 years in UK. And then after that, I went overseas to Seychelles. And I've lived in Seychelles for 33 years.
Oh my God, what a lucky person. Seychelles.
Oh, there's only so many days.
All I know about it is seashells on the seashore,
Okay.
Is that what it is?
There's only so many days you can sit on a white beach.
Yes.
Looking at blue skies.
It's like being in heaven.
And blue ocean and sipping a mojito underneath the
But you managed 33 years.
If you're not happy with
boring.
Why did you manage 33 years?
It's boring.
Why did you leave Whitley Bay if you didn't want to look at all those
with all the lovely mermaids in Whitley Bay?
It's boring. I wanted to come back to
a bit of life.
Geordieland.
Yes.
And Geordieland, yes.
So it's cold and the roads have got chewing gum on there and people are spitting.
And I'm wearing a leather jacket. And it's really cool. I haven't been able to wear a leather jacket
in
for 33 years. It's been great. Although I did go out there with a fur coat. And I wore it on my 30th birthday.
Just to make a point.
Yes, I was nearly carried away.
So what did you do in Seychelles? Seychelles. Okay, I'll say Shells. For 33 years. What did you do for 33 years? If you hated it that much?
No, I didn't hate it.
It was boring.
It became boring, latterly, yes.
Latterly in the last 5 days? Or?
5 years.
Okay. What did you do there?
I was a teacher.
Teaching English?
Yeah, English,
As a
drama,
All right.
head of
right.
performing arts, a deputy head teacher as well. And also I was
What, you got a school in Seychelles? I thought it was a tiny island with 2 people on it.
No.
Robinson. and-
It's an archipelago of 115 islands.
Oh my
I
God.
lived on the main one for a number of years,
Uh-huh.
Mahe, which has about 60,000 people. I also
Right.
lived
What's the
in
total
Praslin.
population of the entire Seychelles?
You can get them all into Wembley.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. And how many English teachers would be there?
Well, there are 13 secondary schools in the whole of Seychelles.
Right,
And
right.
every secondary school would have 2 or 3 English
Okay.
teachers. But I
Okay.
taught at the government establishments, and I also taught at the international school.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you had a useful role. You made a difference there.
I hope so, yes, I
mm.
did. I did. And I managed to do some writing. I'm a story writer.
Hmm.
So
You haven't got
I-
your books here.
I have a story with me today, yes.
You could tell us it in a shorter version.
I've written about 60 short stories, all
Wow.
about Seychelles, but they have an international flair as well. And this
Mm.
particular one that I brought with me today is a 3-part, and I brought part 1 with me today. And it's about a tourist called Stanley, who comes to the Seychelles, and it's a comedy story. And I wrote it with Rowan Atkinson in mind.
Really?
Yes, yes. And this one started when President of France decided to come to Seychelles
Right.
for his honeymoon.
Right. Oh.
Yes, he came with his new bride to Seychelles. And I just thought, my God, wouldn't it be hilarious if something really awful happened when you arrived? You know? I mean, that was such bad publicity for Seychelles. So that's what it's all about. It's a catastrophe
The whole.
of things.
What
that
do you
happened
expect
to
with
this guy.
Rowan Atkinson anyway?
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
And then I just thought, well, hang on, Fiona, you had this idea. Let's run with it. So I got somebody to find out where Rowan Atkinson lives in Oxfordshire,
Mhm.
and I sent him a script.
He's from Durham School, isn't he?
I'm not quite sure.
He's Mr. Bean,
Yeah,
isn't he?
something
Yes,
from-
Mr.
Yeah, yeah. He
Bean,
went
yes.
It's from
to.
Hexham.
My godson goes there.
Oh right.
Harry-
Well, maybe you can help me
Harry
out
Chambers.
then with the connection.
Yeah, we'll find out.
So I got a reply, rather snotty reply, I have to say, saying, we don't accept unsolicited scripts. I'm
Oh.
terribly sorry. And I thought, well,
Go away, kind
that's,
of.
that's your loss, mate.
Okay.
Yes.
And
We'll get Brad Pitt instead.
I read the
Well done.
stories on Seychelles Radio, SBC, Seychelles
uh-huh,
Broadcasting
uh-huh,
Corporation. So yes, they were all aired,
So they enjoyed it.
indeed.
Okay. Yeah, you know.
So you haven't given up on getting Rowan Atkinson into the movie
Absolutely
already?
not,
So we're
no.
still looking at that connection.
No, absolutely not. No, let's find him. If you're listening, Ron, just give me a.
Well, he
buzz.
does listen usually. It's well, him over Zafar Batty usually listen.
But the stories were commissioned actually by the broadcasting company in Seychelles. A little bit in the vein of Aesop's fables, because they wanted my stories to have some kind of moral ending that
yes,
teenagers.
some theme in it,
Yes.
in a soft way, given out to teenagers.
It's only in the last 15 years that the students in Seychelles have had access to internet,
All right.
videos.
Okay, so
and-
they have been really quite behind in these things.
Yes.
We take that for granted that the rest of the world knows about everything.
Let
because
me tell you about the rest of the world. I'll
All right.
give you an example of the rest of the world.
Mm.
Yesterday, I was on the phone
Mm.
to an insurance company. Am I allowed to say the name?
You
of
can
it?
say anything here.
Legal and general.
General.
Mm.
Mm.
And I had a lady who had a tick box of things to ask me, and she said, "Have you been overseas in the last 2 years?" And I went, "Yes."
Yes.
And she said, "Where?" And I said, "Seychelles." And she said, "Where's that?" I said, "It's in the Indian Ocean." And she went, "Where's that?"
That. It's on this
And
planet.
I said, "Well, you've got Africa on the left, and Australia on the right, and you've got India up above you in the Middle East, and down at the bottom you've got South Pole." She wasn't amused. So she said, "Is that Africa?" I said, No, it's not Africa.
It's in the ocean,
it's
man.
Seychelles. It's, it's its own country and its own right.
Seychelles, the world. Is
Yeah.
in their postal address.
And then she said to me, "I'll just tick Africa." As we say in Creole, wizard seigneur. Anybody that
Ah,
speaks
vous
Creole out there,
obscenior.
you will love that one. Listen
So
again.
Creole is what you speak there.
Vous obscenior.
You must always have to explain where it is to people, though, isn't it? I mean, I'd get a vision that it was that sort of area without knowing specifically where
Well,
it
I was
is.
on the metro the other day and I was sitting next to a bunch of young girls, 20-something, and they said, where should we go for our holidays? And they were scrolling down, and one girl, she said, oh, there's a deal on in Seychelles, and the other one on the other side said, where's that?
Next to Primark.
I can't let this go. So I just jumped in, and of course they looked at me like I was some kind of crazy bag lady, and I started explaining and telling them where Seychelles was, and they were really excited to find out. And then strangely, as I got off, the lady that got off with me, she said, she nudged me, and she said, I've been to Seychelles too.
Oh my God!
I know, we're having
you-
the Seychelles fest.
Well, for £824, you can go to Seychelles. Cheapest flight deal.
But I tell you, for 820,
As long as you can spell Seychelles almost correctly. Seychelles. Was it occupied by the French? It's got a Frenchy.
It's got a very interesting history.
Uh-huh.
The French and the British.
Mm.
And there was a guy in charge of Seychelles, and when he would see the British frigates coming in, he'd raise the British flag. Right? Oh yeah. And when he saw the French coming in, he'd
It is
raise
a
the
French flag, yes.
And really, this is extended into politics up to this moment, because it's very strategically placed. The maritime, the ocean waters are huge, and so the president of the country has, when he's wanted something, has held out his hand to the west, held out his hand to the east, and he's
done well out of it.
very,
Clever
very,
man.
very well.
When you said Creole, I was thinking about Mauritius.
It's
Because I come
similar
from Bihar, where a lot of the indentured labor, otherwise slaves, came from my state. So I'm very connected with Mauritius and Mauritian people, and Seychelles is just above there.
Oui.
I've just found out on the internet.
Of course, Creole.
It is Africa.
Of course, Creole.
Oh, it's Creole, yes. No, they speak Bhojpuri,
All right.
which is, and Bhojpuri and French mix. It's a bit like what the Jewish people speak Yiddish, which is German and
Creole
Hebrew.
is Swahili and French.
Okay, Swahili and French.
Swahili
Oh,
and French.
okay.
And I always thought a phrase like we have in Creole is kisi sasa,
Kisi Sasa.
which is
Means-
from the French, qu'est-ce que c'est que ça? I thought it was. And then I saw an old film of Kenyatta
Uh-huh.
with his stick.
Jomo Kenyatta.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Going, kisi sasa.
Kisi Sasa.
Okay, that comes from Swahili.
Ah.
And when I get tired, I do lapse into Creole, don't I?
Just a
Michael?
bit.
Yeah. And
Just
he
a bit.
gives
You
me
know,
a polite
Vasco
look.
da Gama went there. He's the fellow who came to Goa in India.
Correct.
He's the
he
one
did.
fellow who didn't lose his way like Christopher Columbus and land on the wrong continent, thank God. Okay, so you enjoyed Seychelles very much, except in the last 5.
Well, I
you enjoyed
did.
what you did there.
I
really.
did. I brought up 3 children there. Recently, I've been bringing up 4 grandchildren there. But the life is on the beach. It's beach life. If you don't swim, if you don't dive, if you don't snorkel, if you don't jet ski, if you don't do any of that.
If you're a mountain person, don't go to Seychelles.
Well,
Is there mountains there?
well, it is a mixture actually of granitic islands and coral islands.
Okay, okay.
And my big mistake, because I was teaching in Buckinghamshire before I went out there, and I went to the geography department and I got the job, and I said, where's Seychelles? Just like everybody else. And he said, oh, come to the globe, we'll have a look. And he swizzled the globe round and
Missed
said,
it.
well, no, it got lost in the welding in the middle. And there was a little
The bit of the
arrow.
globe where it joins.
Yeah, there was a little arrow pointing to a welding spot that Seychelles was here.
I just looked before on Google Maps, and if you pull all of Africa into the frame, it looks like it's in the middle of the sea. You've got to home in till it appears, and
But
Victoria
I didn't
is
do
all sorts of
my
places.
research correctly, and I thought that I would be able to bicycle around Seychelles, and it's got a road around the coastal plain, but there's about 7 mountain passes over the main island, and people don't realise that. And the very first day I was there, I hired a car, a mini-moke from Hertz, and drove over a mountain, and I stopped before I got to the pinnacle of the mountain because I couldn't see over the bonnet of the car. You know, it's like driving 1 and 3. You're all googling, aren't you? I can see you all
Yeah,
madly
yeah.
googling.
And we're
where
going
the-
I now know
there is
that
now a tourism trade. Spice FM Travel is now going to take everybody
to Seychelles.
We might even make a song up.
Well, I write.
Seychelles,
No.
Seychelles, oh, bring back my...
No. I'll write the songs. You do the studio bits.
You hum it, son, and I'll
play the
sing it.
guitar. And
Well, the average.
5,240 miles from this very spot.
Yes.
Because it says on here.
No, but if you step out, it will be 1 mile less. Sorry. And the temperature goes between 23 and 31. So it's quite hot and sweaty.
Yes. It's very, very humid. Very high humidity.
So when you have a shower, it doesn't feel like you had a shower.
Oh no! The only way to have a shower, you've got to have a shower really in a clever way. You have a shower, you jump into your clothes, and you get into the car and put the aircon on blast.
Then you'll feel
and
it
then
was
you
a
cool
shower.
And you dry down, and then you run from your car into your air-conditioned office. Magic.
Just like Calcutta,
Yes.
which is hot and humid.
Yes. I'm sure it is. I haven't been, but my
No,
daughter's
this is the
been to
feeling.
Calcutta.
Yeah.
She said it was very similar.
I'm quite a clever boogie, you know. Okay.
I'm realising that.
When did Seychelles get electricity and so on?
Well,
And how? From what does it get electricity? There's no wires coming from Africa, as the.
Well, there are wires coming from Africa now for the connectivity, you know, the World Wide Web and all that. But that's only in the last couple of years. They have big generators, and we have. I say we because I have British and Seychelles passport.
No, you feel quite loyal to that country. I mean, we're laughing and joking, but you're quite embedded in it still, I think.
Well,
you still love it dearly.
I do, but I don't want to live there anymore.
No, that's okay.
I want to live here. They have 5 tankers, 5 super tankers. In fact, to my daughter, who's a marine biologist, I have the privilege of going out to Germany and laying the coin in the bottom of the keel of the first Seychelles tanker.
Right.
So the tankers bring in the oil, and that's how they create the electricity. They have flirted with, you know, converting the seawater, desalination, but the machines just keep getting bunged up. I don't know. Somehow it doesn't work. The Emirates have donated wind turbines. So there's 3 of those. Yeah. 3.
Just donated.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's very kind. Because the country is Christian.
It is. It's a Catholic country. 85% Catholic.
That too Catholic. Yes. Vasco da Gama went to Goa, and again Francis Xavier came, and that's why it's all Catholic.
So what's the main industry in there? Is it tourism or?
Tourism and fishing. They're the pillars of the economy. Tourism and fishing.
It's a bit like Andaman Nicobar in India. They also got white sands. People are very simple.
And we are also a regional hub for the pirates.
For the pirates?
Yeah, the pirates. We have the European Commission.
From Somalia?
Yes. I've met quite a lot of them.
Seriously?
Yes.
Pirates?
Yes. We spotted one once coming in on his little skiff.
What a dangerous life you lead.
Indeed. The European Commission gave about 40 million to build a prison on Mahe because none of the other regional countries wanted to house the pirates. So all the pirates are brought into us, and the prison is quite full of pirates, Somali pirates, yes.
Somebody said Seychelles, a word paradise must have invented for these Indian Ocean islands. It must be beautiful.
It is. There was a saying in tourism, because I've been in tourism, in 5-star tourism in the country, and there's a saying, Seychelles is a 5-star destination with 3-star service. Mauritius is a 3-star destination
with the 5-star service. So the Mauritius makes a lot of it, and Seychelles haven't exploited it enough.
Seychelles have been very savvy about it, because what the big chains of hotels have done is they've brought in a lot of Mauritian waiters and staff to train the Seychellois. You can't give good service unless you've received good service.
Unless you've seen it. Yeah.
You know, so that's working quite well at the moment.
That's quite an insightful thing you're saying, because if you don't, I mean, you can't give what you don't have.
Exactly.
Well, I think that I remember the first time I went to the States, quite a few years ago now, probably early 80s, and whatever you think of service here, when you go there, it's totally different, because and then it puts it in perspective that we're pretty poor in this country, and still are. And I guess that's the same in other parts of the world as well.
That's one of the things they talk about the States, and I keep talking about when they say have a nice day, sir.
Yes. It sounded cheesy before I went. I thought, this is a bit cheesy. You know, you go and everybody's doing that, but it was that when it came across, it was sincere in the way that it was put over.
Do you know this song?
Oh, you've got to dance to this one. This is a Sega.
Is this Seychelles music?
Yeah.
Of course.
Doesn't it sound as though we produced this show efficiently and effectively and he's prepared in advance?
Patrick Victor?
It says T. Creole Leo by Joseph Louis.
Oh, Joseph Louis, yes.
And here he is, coming through the door.
But it's got a very African lilt in
And
it.
when you dance to this is the Sega, right?
Uh-huh.
If I had a bit more room, I'd get up and dance.
You're welcome to. Just move
No,
your
okay,
chair.
put it on and I'll get
Away.
to
Take your
dance
headphones off though.
Yeah, I will. I'll show you how it's
Move
done.
the chair away.
Before I start, I've got to say you've got to dance this. Imagine you've got leg chains on. 'Cause
Yeah.
That's how the Sega evolved from the
right.
slaves.
So it was a slave dance.
Yeah, so you keep your feet really close together and it's like that,
Okay.
like that, like that. That's me
Now,
dancing.
can I just say, this is something we can really build on. This Strictly Come Dancing on the Radio.
But tell
So
me,
glad
You
nobody
do
can see
realise
me
you
do
just
that.
danced on radio.
tell me. Yes. She not dance on the radio set.
I'm actually dancing at this very moment for other people on the radio. I've
Okay.
got out of my wheelchair and I am now dancing on the radio.
So all tourists that want to go to Seychelles and want to dance, because all the hotels will play some local music, and it's quite an amusing thing that the locals are asked to invite the tourists to come and dance. So tourists, when you go in there, the trick is keep your left foot flat on the floor and then just jig up and down on your right, and then they'll go, how do they know that?
So this is good stuff, because you're coming here now to yes, you get opportunity to get tourism to go there, but you can train people before they go how to live their best
I got a
life and
song
get
for
used-
Stephen.
Sleep, sleep, I could
Oh, yes.
sleep tonight.
You could dance from Seychelles to Julie Andrews.
Well, I was just saying earlier, I write for a newspaper in Seychelles, and one of the things
You still do?
Yeah,
From
I'm
here-
doing
from here.
it right now. Yeah, in the Seychelles Hebdo, and it's 3 months versus 33 years, and it's my ideas on how England is now and what.
Because you see England as an outsider now.
I am. Just this morning coming in, I saw a van with ups on it. I thought, what the heck is ups? And oh, Fiona, come on, don't be an idiot. United Parcel Service, UPS. Now, no English person would look at that van and go, there's an ups van, but I did because I've forgotten
So
that.
when did you land in Britain?
I came in on July the 6th.
This July.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
that fresh. You're a
Indeed.
freshie.
I am. So this article I wrote was about Newcastle now, and I have never met, through 15 years of working in tourism in Seychelles, one visitor from Seychelles. And I made a challenge to the Minister of Tourism, Alan St-Ange in Seychelles, through the newspaper, and I said, listen, if you would like somebody to be your
Ambassador.
your rep
Ah.
up here, I will do it.
Yes.
I know I'm not as good looking as Cheryl Cole, but I'll do it for you.
So have
Who's Cheryl
you
Cole?
not been back since 33 years? Have you been out of the country for 33
I haven't
years?
been to Newcastle. I've been back
The UK?
maybe yes.
All
Once.
right. Because I would be a big eye opener to be suddenly coming back from such a long time
Yeah.
away to say, oh my God, they've got cars. And
Where have all the trams gone?
yes, we have the trolley buses.
I've had some hairy moments in shops, as Michael will tell you. I'm not used to queuing. I faced an angry mob of middle-aged ladies
Yeah,
in
in the-
Boundary Mills because I was going the wrong way round the queue. I know.
Oh,
I thought I was going to get lynched.
yeah, but it's interesting that, because there isn't often a thing that says do that. It's
just
we
a
get to know it,
cultural-
we get
It's
to
a
know it.
it's a natural
It's
thing.
it's a genetic
For
thing, isn't it?
So
It's
it's
in
like
the
the world
DNA.
should
It's,
know.
it's one of those British traits, isn't it? We are born to queue.
Yes. Born to Queue. Write a book.
It's like
Why don't you write a book called Born to Queue?
do they tip in Seychelles? Because they don't
No,
in
they-
Australia, and it's
They
quite
have a
s-
service charge. They
Do
don't.
they
tip.
add it on? Because in Australia they don't tip at all. Taxis, hairdressers, restaurants, everything. It's the custom not to tip.
In Goa,
But
which
if
is
you-
similar in...
because we are used to doing it in this country. It's
I
almost
noticed
strange.
that in the hairdressers in Whitley Bay, people will come up and the hairdressers that I go to are lovely hairdressers. They just come and slip some money in the hairdresser's pocket, and I haven't been doing that. And I think, maybe she's not washing my hair enough.
Put it in the pocket, yeah.
I know, I'll have to tip her.
Doesn't work for gents. If you go and slip your hand in somebody's pocket, you're going to get arrested.
So you are just seeing this country quite fresh, about what, 5 weeks, 6 weeks.
That's right.
It is your country,
Yes.
but it's not.
Exactly. I consider myself British with the privilege of having a Seychelles passport. My children who were born out there consider themselves Seychelles with the privilege of having a British passport.
It's a bit like Mauritius and Seychelles.
Yeah. So I just wanted to come back to my roots and reconnect.
So your 5-star is here, your 3-star is there, your kids' 5-star is there, your 3-star is there, isn't it? Something like that. But all of us, I mean, whether you move from Seychelles to here, or India to here, or South Shields to North Shields, there's that dislocation feeling. First, I think there's cultural bereavement. Initially, is this the first time you danced a Seychelles dance on Spice FM?
First time I've danced it in Seychelles, yes.
Ah.
In England.
In England.
Whoa! See, there we are. I said Seychelles.
Yeah, because you still see that as your mother country.
It's the place where I've lived for 33 years.
Home is where the heart is.
After I'd been there 12 years, I remember catching myself thinking when I descended to Seychelles after coming here for a short holiday, thinking, oh God, I'm home. I was like, whoa, this is home.
Yes.
Seychelles is home.
Yes, exactly. When I come over the Tyne Bridge, or even less, when I'm driving and go past what monument is that with the pillars only and no roof?
Penshaw.
Penshaw.
Yes.
And I go and see the Penshaw. I say, I'm home.
And the Angel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Often I say I'm coming to Patna, which is my hometown, when I'm in Newcastle. It's like calling your children by your brother's names.
The first time I came back in April to this part of the world, I said to Michael, I want to go to the very first pub that I ever drank in.
Oh, I see.
Scotswood Road.
No, it was the Kittiwake in Whitley Bay.
Oh, hey,
The Kittiwake in Whitley Bay, yes.
That's where the dock goes for.
That's where the dock
yes.
went.
And I
He's now a Morpeth man.
I went drinking there. I started drinking there when I was... and my mother used to think I was going to the youth club. Yeah, it was great.
So, all right, but there weren't all those shops there when you
yes,
went?
there were. There was that arcade of shops.
But the arcade
yes.
of shops was still there?
Yeah. Yes,
all right.
it was,
But there wasn't the Chinese. But there wasn't the Chinese thing. Because there were a lot of foreign foods there, which is not common in Whitley Bay. Whitley Bay is quite singularly English, except for one road where there's the Indian shops. So
I lived in Grasmere Crescent.
Is it a posh place or a Doon the Road kind of place?
It is what it is.
Okay. She still has to go back home now. Okay.
Yes, I'm going to visit my next door neighbour on Monday.
Well, the show will be up on air, so she can see it. So, what did you miss from Seychelles now? Are you going to live here now?
Yes, I am permanently. Yes, I'm relocated. Yes.
So, what will you be missing? Weather, I suppose.
My grandchildren
Ah.
and my daughter.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
my son.
So that's your. What do you think of that lovely music?
I'm struggling with my phone.
I put the volume up so people could hear.
I forgot to turn my phone off. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Yes, no, I'm going to miss my grandchildren
Uh-huh.
and my 2 children are there. I have one daughter who's here.
You've got a daughter here.
Yes, I have.
Mhm,
Yes, she lives in Harrogate.
Mhm.
But the other 2, and as far as the grandchildren are concerned, I just thought that I would be a better granny in UK than I was there. I know that sounds a bit weird, but I was just doing what I'd done with my children every week, which was going to the beach and having a picnic. And I know a lot of people will be saying, "Oh,
lucky you are."
yeah, yes, but I'm going to get my grandchildren out here. I want them to go on adventure holidays. I just want their horizons to be broadened, and I think that contribution to their upbringing is more valuable than sitting.
So your grandchildren coming from Seychelles to England, seeing another world.
That's it.
A completely different world.
They will be doing, yes.
Yes.
And even from afar, I mean, the beauty now is things like Skype. So you're going to be able to see them, and
Yes.
you're going to be able to pass information over. So when they come, they're not going to be.
We're
you're going to say, "Oh, we look forward to this."
And each other.
And it's free.
It's good.
It's even free.
Yes. Yes.
And next time you come, you can tell them to go to doc.anand, doc.anand, and you can be talking to them via Skype.
Wow.
You know.
Oh yes, that would be good. We've had a lot of Skypes on here. We're Skype. We're having Skype the Seychelles. So Senegal,
Pakistan,
Singapore,
Bangladesh,
Singapore,
the south somewhere in England.
Oxford.
For the wheelchair day.
Oxford,
yes. What else? Austria, yes.
Right. Well,
Singapore. We are going to Australia fairly soon because
Yes.
I've got a guest lined up in the not too distant future from Adelaide.
Okay, I've got a bigger screen there, just hiding there. But
Right.
I'll put it there so you can talk
Right,
to it.
but we'll be speaking to Gail Miller in Australia in the not too very distant future. So Seychelles.
I'll set that up.
It's
with
only
my daughter.
5,240 miles.
As long as Seychelles has the internet, which
Oh yes,
it does.
this is
We do,
important.
we
Yes,
do.
we do have.
Yeah.
We
And my
can't-
daughter has Skype. She's a marine biologist out there.
That'll be excellent. That would
Yeah.
be a good connection. First family connection linked up. That would be good.
Yes,
Yes.
and you can talk to them live.
Yes.
And what do you like here? I mean, you've been here a very short time. You're like a foreigner, and look at me talking to you. I'm from the UKIP party.
What do I like here? I like the vegetables and the
Tatties.
fruit. No, not those.
Not
I just
tatties.
like the range of things. You know, in Seychelles, it's sometimes very difficult to get these fresh fruits and vegetables if you're not in the tourism industry, and so they can be extraordinarily expensive. But it's the cheapness of the food, the availability of the food. I like also the cultural side of things. Last night I went to the People's Theatre to their to their open day, and I registered with them as a member.
So you're rediscovering your ancient roots, isn't it?
Yeah,
I didn't mean ancient, that you're an old bat, but
I'll deal with you later.
I meant that your original roots.
Well, my heart is in drama,
Okay.
and
Newcastle is quite good for that. I mean,
Yeah.
not people are drama artists, which they are, but you got Theatre Royal here, you got People's Theatre, you got lots of little
Live,
groups, you
yes.
know.
well, that's what I'm looking
So you
forward
could
to.
bring people here, you know. So I thought I'd play you a song as well.
On kittens, bright copper kettles and warm woolen mittens, brown paper packages tied up with strings.
You've been practicing, Doc. This is better than normal.
Well, she comes from Seychelles, you know.
Now,
They do this on the
one of
they do this on the
main
BBC,
things-
but not as good. You know,
one of the
they've
main
prepared in
things
advance.
I'm enjoying, actually, no pun intended, is wearing clothes,
Oh, yeah. Going around naked in Seychelles.
more or less.
Yeah, because you...
Everybody to the Seychelles.
No, but the thing is, you know, any culture you grow up with, even in African culture where women only cover the bottom parts and not the top, I suppose you just get used to it, you know.
Shall I tell them what my daughter said? Looking
Tell
to
them
Michael
that.
for approval. I brought my daughter over here when she was about 16.
Uh-huh.
And she said to me at the end of the holiday, she made an observation. She said, Mummy, I just don't know how teenage girls in England choose their boyfriends. And I'm like, what do you mean, Susie? And she said, well, you know, they wear so many clothes.
The men.
Yeah, I went, naively.
So you can't make out what they're like.
Naively, I said, what's that got to do with it? And she goes like, duh, Mummy, we spend the whole of our social life on the beach. It's kind of, you know...
You have to look okay.
Yeah, well, you have to look okay, but there's nothing left for imagination, you know. And she said, I don't know how they do it, these girls. She said, because all the guys wear so many clothes. So there you are. If you're out there listening and you're wondering why you haven't got a girlfriend...
But maybe that's the reason why when you go down to the quayside in the big market, the girls and blokes are wearing very little these days, even if it's winter. So that's probably why
You
they've
could have
adopted,
hit on that, yep.
they've adopted the Seychelles method of courting.
And what do you not like in the brief period you have been in the UK?
Automated telephone responses.
Okay, press 1 for this, press 2 for that.
It's doing my head in.
Yes. If you ring
It's
Spice, you've got to
doing
press
my
number
head
1
in.
to get to
Yeah.
speak.
Oof. You know,
So no real people.
That's
And,
it.
and why don't you go on the web and don't talk to me? Well, if I could do it on the web easily, I wouldn't be talking to you, ma'am. By ma'am, I mean the computer voice.
That's
What do
I
you think of
don't like.
lifts talking to you going up,
Oh.
going down? How does that affect
It's
you?
a bit weird. It's a bit weird.
But then
I
you
have
enter
to
a lift
say.
which has no voice and you feel lonely, you know?
Well, possibly, I'm not at that stage
It's
yet.
too posh. The one Eldon Square's too posh.
I'm not
I
at that
think they should
stage
have
yet.
needed Geordie accent.
Aye. What about GPSs that have Geordie accents, you know? Turn left, you stupid booger. Can you imagine that GPS telling you
Having
like...
said that, I'm not fussy on the quayside bus that talks in Geordie and tells you where you are.
Oh, does it? It's in Geordie,
Yeah,
is it?
it's in Geordie. There's a bloke and a woman sort of tell you Come to Grey Street, and here's where they have the Theatre Royal. Aye. Hey, that's quite good. Well, I don't think
You get the voiceover job. You get the voiceover job.
That's a good one, that.
Get off here for the Theatre Royal and go to Grey Street for to see the monument.
So, do you miss? You do understand Geordie? I take it completely.
Mostly.
Mick will teach you because
as an English teacher, I'm that kind of wincing at the abomination of verbs being thrown around. But yes, I do understand most of it.
Can we just come back? We were talking at the beginning of the show about Toastmasters before Mick and Fiona
Yes,
came in.
because it is about speaking.
And congratulate Mick on winning the A1 Speakers speech contest on Monday. And he goes forward to the area finals, which will be held in Sunderland. So anybody can get along to Sunderland on Sunday, the 11th of October.
Sunday, 11th of October, where?
At
did you say?
Fulwell Community Centre.
That's in Sunderland.
Visitors are welcome.
Okay.
Get in the audience, see what Toastmasters is all about.
A good day will be had by all.
Good day will be had by, including excellent food from the Mad Hatter's Tea Party Cafe or something similar.
Can I wear a topi instead of a hat? I can say topi or not topi. That is the question. So why don't you give a minute of your speech?
A minute?
Only.
God.
We can't sit here 10 minutes.
Do the Clardy bit.
Hi, go on then. So this is Mick Rickwood, Toastmaster.
So here we have a fantastic job. A bilingual specialist. I can do that. I can speak 2 languages. I speak the Queen's English, and I also speak another language that is spoken by very few people in the world. Geordie!
Dun, dun, dun.
Hadaway, man! Let's gan down the road and see the Raji Gaji plodging in the class.
It is
There is the
amazing.
winning contest area finalist. Off we go. But the great thing, come back to Toastmasters, that what Mick's achieved there is getting through to the area finals where we'll meet other clubs from the area. They can go on from there to being national champion, and then part of the speaking, and you can go into international as well. So it's a great opportunity to practice and get better and see yourself competing against others. So it's, as well as the development that we talked about earlier on.
But speakers clubs are really not about speaking. I think it's not just about speaking. Obviously, you've got a mouth and tongue, and you enunciate in different ways and vocabulary and all that. But that's a very low level thing. It's much more about human expression and human to human contact. Because isn't there an African word where Seychelles is Ubuntu? If you're not in touch with another human, you're a Mowgli, you know. And most of us are Mowglis, you know. We don't link with other humans to the level we could. And we have a, hello, Arit. Muslims say, Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum salam, Muhammadullah. But they're not communicating. They're just mouthing some, what do you call them? Banalities or gratitudes. Yeah, platitudes.
When there was a program on the television not so long ago about it, and people saying, "How are you?" You know,
and nobody tells them.
And then, but even you say, "I'm fine," but I'm not really interested in how you are.
No.
You know.
Well, speaking of language, if I say, can I have a pound of this or that or the other, she says, no problem. But why the hell should you have a problem? I've come to a bloody shot. Why do we use these stupid words? I have no problem. It already makes me feel like a problem, you know.
And we've talked about the turning round before in the past.
Yes, and the doctor turned round and said, why do doctors turn round, you know? Geordie doctors, you know what happened? I went to the doctor and he turned round and said, but he must be dizzy by now. He's turned around so many times.
I think that's come into the language while you've been away in the Seychelles, because I don't think that was there when I was a kid. But that's totally crept in.
Okay, but do you know what hardware and software are?
I've got 3 children.
Okay. Because these are words that have become commonplace.
I know. Bill Gates came over to Seychelles and he donated a whole bunch of computers to Seychelles. I met him while he was there. He was a really lovely guy.
Wow.
You know, when I was working in tourism, I said to all the Seychelles, don't worry about not travelling the world. The world comes to Seychelles. And it's true. So he donated a load of computers, and then we had no computer teachers, so then we all went on a course. And I was one of the first computer teachers.
Really?
Yeah, in Seychelles, yes.
Which year was that?
1990.
So very recent, you know.
7.
Very.
5. 5.
But you know, in a country like India, when iPhone went, now they got more iPhones in India than here because they are very hungry. So
But
if
my
you don't have
grandson is 6 and he has no idea what a keypad is.
okay, so it's all touchscreen.
Touchscreen.
So that's what I mean, because the next generation picks up the
Yep.
thing and runs with it and
That's
uses
the
it.
norm. That becomes the norm.
I mean, if you go to Eldon Square to the Apple shop, there'll be little kids sitting and the parents are saying, let's go. These are 4-year-olds. No, mom. And they're glued to the keypad and
Have you
playing.
seen the recent thing doing the rounds on Facebook? Child in the womb.
She even knows what Facebook is, you know.
Child on the womb
Uh-huh.
with the mobile. Ding, ding, ding. And the gynecologist looking down the tunnel saying, it's time to come out. And the child's going, hang on, I'm just on Facebook.
There's truth in that. You know, there was one piece that touched me deeply. The little girl comes, Mom, I got this. And Mom says, just a minute. And she's on Facebook. The little boy comes and, Dad, I'm in the team. He says, just a minute. I'm on Facebook. And then they showed the same scene with dads taking interest and mums taking interest. We're not talking about the kid, with parents. We are so stuck in Facebook that often we miss the moment, don't we?
Well, one thing I did when I came and I settled down and with Michael and everything, and he was very used to having the laptop in the lounge, and also and so I said the lounge is going to be a tech-free area.
So you can communicate as human people.
That's it, yeah, and it's quite refreshing to do that. Make the lounge a tech-free area. If you want to be on something, you make time to go.
I've got
on.
a friend called Pasha. He's Pakistani. And Pakistanis and Indians, if you go to the house, there'll be a television running, blasting away. I, as a doctor, an emergency doctor, would say, can you turn the volume down? Sarcastically. I mean, they got a bloody appendix, they're dying, and the radio and the television blaring away. Pasha is a very unusual guy who says, can you switch that off? Because if, say, we 4 friends are chatting and the television is on, it's a constant distraction. I'm talking to you, but the bugger on the screen has done more research, so I'm more interested in him, and it breaks communication.
But I'm not used to the adverts either, and I think I'm driving Michael mad because I mute the adverts. I like to watch.
Yes.
I like to watch the TV shows, but I mute the adverts.
On
Now,
demand
he's
is a
quite
good
used
thing from
to
that point of
talking
view.
over the adverts, and I just can't do it. I cannot, and I don't want to do it, and I don't want to get into the swing of doing it.
I might be watching a romantic Hindi movie or a spiritual thing deeply into it, and then there's an advert, die today, claim tomorrow kind of thing in English. So it just completely takes you out of the scene, because you're in a certain modality.
That's right.
It's like a priest walking into a studio just now. With us people, no, he's not there.
Really, we've been that racy?
I didn't hear the door go. He's going to come through the glass. Hello, priest.
So it's been quite an emotional, spiritual, social readjustment for you.
Still is.
You're going to lose that tan as well, You'll become a pale face very soon.
Go down the plug hole.
Did you bring your fur coat back with you? Because you're not in a few weeks' time. You'll probably need it.
I do. But I won't be able to wear a fur coat anymore. No, somebody will lynch me in the
You
street
fall
or
wearing fur.
throw a broken
You
egg
could
at
wear
me.
it in Jasmine, do, because they wear fur coats in New Nickers.
Yeah,
in Jasmine,
really?
Yes.
No, thought they said it was Gosford.
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 Is
Well,
it's
I
spread,
once
isn't it?
parked my 4x4 Barclays Bank, Causey Street, right? And this fellow walks up and says, aren't you ashamed you are using a 4x4 which is destroying the green gas? I said, do you eat meat? Yes. I said, the fart from a cow and bull and buffalo that you eat is 5 times more powerful than my 4x4 destroying your... So get your facts right, you little twat. It's fact, it's true,
The priest has turned away at the door.
Is twat a rude word? I thought it's just a
It's
normal
not the sort of BBC type word.
Oh, the BBC.
Oh, that would have
The
been-
BBC won't even call him Steve Wheelchair Steve. They say Stephen Wilkinson, who prefers to be called Wheelchair Steve.
Got a policy?
Yeah, PC is
Oh,
really
that's-
that's
I've got a
something I.
Tell us about PC, how you feel about it as an English teacher.
Oh wow! Well, it was brought home to me in the Seychelles because we had a head of school from UK, and one day after rehearsal, I asked him. I said, well, "Can you give one of my students a lift home?" And he went, "No." And I went, "Why?" He said, "I can't be seen in the car with her." So what are you talking
Oh my God, seen in the car with
Happened
her.
over
What
there
are you
as well.
talking about? He said, well,
Yes.
she's an A-level student, and I just can't.
Yes.
And I just didn't get it.
Oh,
I just.
you didn't even
get it.
understand what they're saying.
Well, I didn't.
You're so innocent about it.
I just, no, not a clue.
And I was in Goa with my then English wife. I had several English wife. And her Pakistani origin friend. So we are in a train. There's trains that you can walk from one coach to the other. and they were behind me, and we were trying to find better seats. And a gorgeous little girl of 4 or 5, with the sun shining, like a perfect picture of a beautiful child, and a father behind, and then the mother behind as well. So I just did that. I said, "You are really gorgeous." If it was the mother, it would be making a pass at the mother. But the father was there, so I could do it,
Well, that reminds me of something that I just brought up when we went to a meeting. Where was it? At Slady Hall?
Yes.
The NEC?
Chamber of Commerce.
NECC.
Yes. And somebody was asking a question about how to create more team spirit in his business. And I said, well, have you forgotten how to connect with people?
Yes.
And I just put my hand on his shoulder. You'd have thought.
When did that?
Yeah. Actually touching somebody.
Yes.
It stopped, isn't it? When
Yes.
did we stop touching
Well, if you
people?
don't touch each other, you shrink, The spine shrinks. The children from Romania, from orphanages, who came after the communism went there, who came to countries like Europe, shot up in inches, because the Romanian kids were getting their food through a slit in the door. They weren't touched and hugged and talked to. There was one laboratory where box number, someone's phone's going again, without the music this time. Thank God for that. Who's that, please?
Is it the same people?
It's usually around about now you get the
and
PPI calls.
box number 36, they were putting, as humans do, they were putting on the shaved area of the rabbits carcinogenic material to produce cancer. The last one, number 36, never got cancer, whatever the trial was. So they put a webcam, and they found it was a biology student who looked after it. She used to take out the rabbit and stroke it. So the love she gave the rabbit protected it from cancer.
Wow.
It is now, touch is so important, and we become very untouching.
And I said to this guy, have you thought about just shaking hands
Yeah,
and
yeah.
holding the hand a little bit longer?
A bit,
Are you
yeah,
all right?
yeah.
Or even giving somebody a hug. And
Ah.
you'd have thought I said a dirty word at the table. Hug. What are you talking about? Hug. How many hugs?
Isn't it sad though that things like that, the negative aspects of that, have spread very quickly? Where we're all paranoid about offending somebody or the blame culture and all that, whereas the good bits take a lot longer. Take access that Mick and I's been working on for a long time. Mick's access specialist
For disability.
around about
2004.
Yeah,
For
all the
disability.
way for disability and making access, and how slow that is.
Yeah.
But you take something like banning smoke, and instantly, nobody smokes now. But it's and you can't do this, you can't do. There's loads of other things, and yet trying to make things more accessible for. And it's not just people in wheelchairs, not just disabled people. Everybody.
Is anyone who's different from you?
Anybody that's got walking difficulties. So you get a lot of older people who have walking difficulties that might be useful to have a grab rail or a ramp or a wide door or automatic doors, all those sort of things. It's a lot of people get help, but there's just nobody wants to do it.
To reach out.
Yeah, and
Nobody wants
it's
to reach
so
out.
it's almost like it's good to be
Bad.
Bad, yeah.
Well, in my
It's certainly acceptable to be bad.
in my
this
job,
it
teaching
shouldn't be.
performing arts, I felt that I had to touch the students. If you are doing a certain move the wrong way in a dance, or in a warm-up exercise, I would have to touch the students. So I had quite a touchy-feely kind of job.
Yeah.
And when the head teachers would come in from UK, they were like, "Oh, Fiona, I'm sorry. If you want me to stop teaching, I will stop teaching.
This is my style.
This is my style." And particularly with the what I call specially abled children, they would
Gifted.
yes,
Gifted and talented.
gifted and talented. They like to be hugged, and kids would high five me and cuddle me, and I felt okay with that.
Isn't it?
And I came in and I had one lesson in, can I say where? Blythe Academy. When I came in on the last day of term, just to see, I joined up with a teaching agency, and I just went to a child, and I was standing next to them, and I touched the child, and there were 4 teachers observing me at the back. You'd have thought I had committed a heinous crime. Just
And
unbelievable.
the thing about that, if I can just put in briefly on that, it's somebody making an assumption that is not right.
So
Yes.
There's no rule book that says you shall not. Well, it's starting to get that way because it becomes the norm, and people thought, but it's somebody think, oh, you can't do that. It's again like the disability stuff that people say, oh, you can't talk about wheelchair Steve, and that's offensive.
It's a catching
It's offensive
disease.
to disabled
He'll
people.
mind.
No, it's not offensive
He'll
to
mind,
disabled
yes,
people.
yes.
When somebody decides it is.
when Fiona's talking about specially abled, it's the twist on disabled. It's they haven't got. It is they have got special
over the
things
top.
over
Yes,
the top.
yes.
Somebody who's autistic may very well be a bit withdrawn, but they will have special
Other qualities.
Other qualities that
far in excess of
when
others.
she talks about
Well,
specially abled,
My grandson is
the
severely
whole thing
autistic.
about teaching, because I did a course on petals, as they call it, and
So
one of
have
the
I.
things they teach you there is differentiation,
Differentiation.
the way people learn. And some people will learn from touchy
Tactile,
feels.
some are verbals.
If you think you
yeah.
can get through to that person by touching them on the shoulder or shaking the hand or giving them a hug, and they learn because that's making them feel good and positive, you should do it.
Well, clearly you can't do it in this
You can't do
country.
it. You can't do
No,
it.
you can't do it in this country
not
anymore.
allowed.
Rule 47356 of the schools: you must be 3 inches away from the pupils at all times.
I went with an Indian family to Whitley Bay, and they were having some bouncy castle, small, and the kid was small. My godson was small, and they were jumping. And she says in Hindi, "Photo le lo." And I said in Hindi, "How can I take it? There are 2 white kids behind, and their parents are watching me." So what the hell, if I take a picture, if I take a photograph of, you can't take a picture of your own child in a swimming pool, even if there's nobody else in the pool.
In case you might
You're
catch
kidding me.
I'm telling you.
In case you might.
Your own
There's an-
child.
If you
There's a-
take your
there's another-
grandchild to any swimming pool in this
There's
country,
another one that you
you
might
won't be
not have-
allowed to take a photograph of that child.
Laura,
There's another one that you might not have come across. You've got to be careful about this
What's
if
that?
you're going to do teaching. Aren't you not allowed to give a kid an elastoplast to cut a finger?
you've
So
got to
what
be very
are you-
careful on anything at all like
No,
that.
I appreciate that one.
It's all about trapping germs and everything. But
If
going on about
somebody's bleeding to
going on
death, I'm
about-
going to give them an elastoplast.
going on about photographs and what have you. I mean, my daughter Laura was into performing arts, and she was in a dance school for a lot of years. And I used to video every show, but it was the case that every parent that went had to agree that I was allowed to video the show.
Even if you're pointing only towards.
It was on the stage. I've videoed the show.
I was in Palestine, though I'm a Hindu from India. I do strange things, I went to Palestine. And one fellow came up and chatted with in a school. He was 16-year-old. He said, "Oh, my father is from Palestine. He went to India, to Hyderabad. Being a Muslim, he married a Muslim lady. So I said, "Oh, you're half Indian, then I'm your uncle." So he was speaking and I was filming, and a person in very high office in this country, in the parliament, says, "Don't." I said, "Why?" And I just carried on. What do you mean? It's a relationship between that boy and me. But it's almost like if you're in the group with us, you have to behave like the group dynamics. And I can't stand that.
Well, you never do.
I never. Why should I? I'm not a sheep, man. I'm a goat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, you're certainly an old goat.
Well, that's why I can't join any political party. I think political parties are for weak people, extremely weak people. When I do something on radio and say something good about some unpalatable political party, my friends in the other political parties say, "You can't say that." I said, "I have said that. Up yours. This is Britain."
We saw it was interesting. We had a guy yesterday. Well, I was at DNEX yesterday with our
DNEX is?
Disability North exhibition. It's on again today.
Okay.
I was there
Disability
with Angus.
North, yes.
I was there at the racecourse ground. I was there with Angus with Happy Legs, and we sold some, which was good, and got a lot of positive.
If it's free, he can come next Thursday because you're not here.
Yes, he's coming in next Thursday.
He is.
I'm away on holiday, I think, yes.
Okay.
But there was somebody, we actually sold a machine to. A guy had a BBC sweatshirt on, a guy with a walking stick, and I said, "Oh, what's your role in the BBC?" And he says, "Oh, I'm on the board of trustees, that." He says, "I can't stand the BBC." because it's a bit like you're saying, you've got the BBC, and you've got to do it this way and that way, and that's how the BBC. And he didn't agree with it.
The BBC has been entrusted to encourage community radio. Okay, so I go to the BBC doing a journalism course. That was my excuse. Got to know the guys. Of course, I got the first prize. Do you know why? I didn't use that massive cameras. I used an iPhone. When I went out interviewing people, I would stop with an iPhone, it has automatic focus, automatic light adjustment. So if a white van goes, it blinks.
Yeah.
So I stopped all that. So I gave them 32 shots. They couldn't make out which was iPhone 5 and which was their super duper wonderful 6 kilo camera. So I got the prize. So I got to know the director. So I wanted to make an appointment with him. And when I rang, they kept saying, "Oh, would you like to tour the studio?" I said, "Man, I've been on Mike Parr's show so many times. You know me. Why are you talking as if you don't know me?" So they have to go through a script, They're so and I'm not talking about the BBC alone. Many institutions are so depersonalized, and they're just doing a script, and you can sense that, So when I go on, say, not O2, it only has British people, Barclays Bank, and he says, "Hey, this is Matthew." I said, "No, you're Murtaza." And you and you're in Mumbai. He said, "No, sir, I'm in Delhi." I said, "It's okay, man." And I chat with them, because they have such boring lives, the poor things. So I asked one girl, I said, "Look, I'm old enough to be a granddad, so I'm not making a pass at you. You sound very good in your Hindi and English. Why are you doing this crap job? Because it will only last 5 years, and then you'll have a very good Canadian accent or British accent, and that's it. You have nothing else. And you have lots of money, and then you just got one skill." She says, "Because actually my father is one of the famous mill owners in Delhi. He told me go and see the world a little bit." I said, "You got a wonderful father." In India, to ask your daughter to go and work in a stupid job just so she can see the world, a bit like you talk about your grandchildren, to see the bigger world. Because you only learn when you're with different people. If I was sitting with a Kayast Hindu Bihari doctor, I'd die, I don't go to my reunions at all. It's so boring. They talk about the same old girls, the same old boys, the same old teachers. God, that was 50 years ago,
I can't even go to my school reunion because I think my school's not there anymore.
Okay. Yes, all mine have gone.
In
burned down, knocked down.
What, La Sagesse?
I know, I wasn't at La Sagesse.
Because that's gone.
I was at Church High School.
Oh, that's gone as well?
Yeah, I think it's all part of
Royal Grammar.
Well, no, there was
I think, have they eaten it up?
Central High and there was Church High, and I think they've amalgamated.
Merged.
And there's going to be a new building in Tankerville Terrace. This is what I've heard.
Okay.
I was talking.
But
to
also,
someone
I
who
heard
works
Royal
there.
Grammar is taking girls in, so that completely pulls the
we
carpet.
used to love it because we didn't have swimming pool, right? So we used to go down on a Friday afternoon, and the girls from Church High and Central would go down to the
What's
boys'
the boys?
school. No, we'd go swimming.
Oh my God!
Oh, I
Swimming in the
know.
same waters.
Get your kids
Oh man, how way!
It'll be like the Seychelles. You all wander around with bikinis.
Bikinis.
and
It was our only chance to, Yes, right.
No, I went to a Catholic school all my life.
Then
really.
you haven't a clue what I'm talking about.
Yes, somebody's on the phone. Hello, caller. Who's that, please? Hello. Hello.
Hello, Doc. This is Rosaria.
Hi, Rosaria.
Hello, Rosaria.
Fire away.
Hello. Sorry, I'm not being able to listen to the show, but I'm actually at the New Bridge project.
Tell us about it.
It's a conversation over 2 days with artists, anyone who wants to express themselves in any way through art. And there's people from across Europe here.
Where is that?
I can't see a single Asian face.
Well, I'm Asian.
You're not there.
I'm here. I do music.
Yes.
I do speaking. So where is it?
I'm sorry.
Where is it? Yeah, you got a lot of background noise. Where is it? Where's the situation?
Yes, it's a little difficult to hear. But I was just hoping you could put it out on air.
Yeah, I'm putting it out on air. So where is this happening, this artistic thing? Where?
6 today and tomorrow.
So today and tomorrow where?
And find out what's going on for artists in the region.
Okay. All right. I'll certainly advertise it tomorrow. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. We couldn't hear, but I would...
Newbridge, didn't you say
Newbridge.
Is
New
that?
Bridge, New Bridge project.
I don't know where.
But
that
where is the Newbridge project?
Is it Newbridge Street? I don't know where.
But Newbridge Street is where the
Sounds-
mattress shops are.
But it goes all the way along, further along, doesn't it? 'Cause
Okay.
I don't know where it is. There's a thing next to. Is it Dex Garage? There's something sort of. art studio thing. Is that?
Yeah, that's just
called-
opened up, hasn't it?
Is it? That might be there. Opposite
But that
the library.
But that's part of New Bridge Street, isn't it?
I think that's
Yes.
the New Bridge Street. There's a thing opposite the library.
It's got funny sort of models in the
Yes,
window. and
yeah, it might be there.
Looks half empty.
But if you get a New
Funny
Bridge
sort of
Street,
models.
it has.
Come along.
if you get along
Yeah,
there, if you
sort
get
of
a New
funny
Bridge
little-
Street and you say, "Can you tell me where the New Bridge project is?" to anybody that's passing by, most people will say,
How about
"I
using...
haven't got a bloody clue."
I know it's not as interesting as Seychelles. Why aren't you checking out on Google?
Yes.
Most people say, where's New Bridge Street?
I know New Bridge
New
Street.
Bridge project. Let's check that out.
One thing I like
Go on.
coming back here is travelling by the coast. Michael's got a habit of cutting through all the little roads to find the shortcut from A to B.
He's a policeman.
Why
Yes.
not, clearly? I just don't want to do that. I want to see the sea. I want to see the
Yeah.
scenery. It's just beautiful. I mean, I spent 6 years of my life walking my dog on the on the links.
All right.
Yeah. So this is what I want to see, and the lighthouse. Yeah.
Well, the doc came with me to Morpeth to the speakers on Tuesday, and he said, "Could we go via Scotland? I would like to sort of see the heather on the way."
I was so enticingly chatting him up that I thought he didn't want the first exit. He might want the second exit. He just went on. I said, "Where are you going? Are you going to not Corbridge? What's the other place? Lord Armstrong's place. Where's that?
Street.
Rothbury."
Yes.
So it was getting towards Coldstream, you know.
We just went past Highley Gate, and I think I've missed the road.
Quite deliberately.
That's why we're there at 7:15 instead of.
Let's look at that picture, Steve.
While you do that, I'll put some music on.
Okay.
So just let me be beside the seaside. I'll be beside them with glee. And there's lots of girls beside. I should like to be beside the seaside, beside the sea. What a surprise.
That's 106 years old.
Thank you so much for playing that. Yes.
No,
When I came back, I said I want to go down on the links by the cafe. What was that cafe called on the links where they're doing all the redevelopment? There?
Rendezvous.
The links.
Rendezvous.
The rendezvous. That's it. I used to tie my
Is it
dog
beyond the
up.
golf course?
Is it?
It's just.
It just goes down from the
Yes,
sea.
yes.
Yeah.
I used to tie my dog up on the drain pipe outside the cafe door, and the cafe door was metal, and you'd push it open, and I would get a cup of coffee and a wagon wheel. What has happened to wagon wheels?
Next to Dex, is it?
Can anybody answer this question for me?
What happened to wagon wheels?
What happened to wagon wheels?
Haven't seen
I
any.
want a wagon wheel with a cup of coffee.
Well, he's a policeman. He can stop any car and get your wagon wheel.
I haven't seen a wagon wheel in about 10
They
years.
don't put as much chocolate on these days, do they? So they're like those club biscuits. If you like a lot of chocolate on your biscuit, join our club. Remember that song?
I remember that song.
They used to be really thick of chocolate. And when I started my first job in 1974, after leaving university, we used to get them and for lunch, and you used to be able to unwrap the wrappers and put them back together again. And if that was the scale, is to put them back in without the biscuit in.
The chocolate was that
Then
thick.
you put them on a plate, and then you had visitors. Would you like a biscuit? There's nothing in them.
But you know, this is something that
true
Michael
story,
does. He tells stories and he cracks jokes and he pulls my leg and I go, what? Because I don't understand the social or cultural reference. I know.
Because jokes only make sense in a cultural reference.
That's it.
But I think poetry is the same, you know. Literature is perhaps not that badly done. If you took an English poem, translate it into Chinese, give it to another Englishman to make it into English, who understands Chinese, of course, retranslate, it'll come out as garbage. It won't make any sense. You won't laugh at it. I mean, Indian jokes don't translate into English because there's no cultural tag on it. And
That's
all
it.
the
That's what I'm missing.
and
So it's all falling a little bit flat. And I go, yeah, what?
Mick, could you anglicize her, please?
It's going to be a long.
It's a long haul.
We'll have to teach her to talk proper, but I'm sure we can sort that out.
Why?
So why doesn't she come to a speakers club?
She has been. I mean,
I've been once,
to
yes.
A1?
I've been once
A1
to
speakers?
the Speakers
What
Club.
was your experience as an English teacher?
At the Speakers Club?
Your personal experience of it.
Wow, it's sunny
generally.
outside, isn't it?
Tell us, how did it feel?
Do they have Toastmasters in the...
No, they don't.
They don't. Or
They don't even have toast, you know.
No, they don't.
This project... to
Gosh,
get
you got me.
started.
You got me speechless now. What did I think of it? I think it's very valuable. I think it probably contributes a lot with those people who feel they don't have the confidence to stand up and talk. I think it's a great way to move forward in that vein. Where you're actually going from Toastmasters, once you've achieved, you know, the highest pinnacle of Toastmasters, I'm kind of wondering, what are you going to do with that? Are you now going to public speak? Are you going to be an MC? I'm trying to encourage Michael to go to the comedy club and do stand-up comedy because he's now developed the confidence to do that.
Yes.
So once if you just keep repeating the same speeches, although you can fine-tune to a certain extent, your audience is always different. So it's the synergy there will always be different.
No, but you get, if I give the same speech, I haven't given the same speech twice. Actually, I'm quite odd that way. I used to prepare my speech from the car driven from Gosforth to Kittiwake. Honestly, that's all I prepared. I never thought about it. Because, I'm a
Peter
GTA.
Reyes does the same. But I get, I think it's an interesting point you're making, but I think everybody has a different objective out of it. For some people, it's just socialising.
But some of it is just social. Yeah.
What I like to do out of it, and a lot of it's happened without me making it happen, is but I want to try and build it more, is get more people involved. We've got the 4 clubs now in this particular area, that A1 speakers that Mick and I, and with Tom Fenwick-Brown, who was a friend of the show, and Peter Ayres started in 2009. Durham Elvet speakers spawned out of that with Mark Gordon and Lindsay. That's now a thriving club again. They've got quite a few members. Since then, subsequently, we've had clubs in Sunderland, Talking Shop at Fulwell, which were mentioned next to the Mad Hatters, with Les Hodgson and Phil Morris are leading that. And then Phil now has launched Morpeth, that you were at the other night, Doc, and I'm helping Phil trying to get that going. And I think there's between those 4 clubs, there's probably 80 or so people going to them, maybe 80 to 100 people going, and some come every week, some don't. You don't see so often. We'll get new people in. We'll get, particularly in A1, we'll get a lot in the next few months that are coming in as to the universities. They come in, and we'll get a lot of people from overseas, which is good. But I think the thing is, we're scratching the surface of the organisation, and I think there are a lot of people out there that can benefit from the social aspect of it, the confidence building aspect of it,
but also realising where you've gone wrong. Also, I was talking to Michael about it. Why don't you video people?
Yes.
Why and let them?
I do.
Yes.
No, I mean at Toastmasters.
Yes, I do.
Why can't you video them and give them the video, and they take it home and they look? And it's all very well evaluating and saying you go and you go, oh, you use your hands too much.
No, but themselves watching themselves.
That's it.
But I think, certainly at A1, I'm assuming that I'm not on committees now, but A1's probably got a few quid in the kitty, and I would buy a video camera for the club.
It's got to be the next logical step. I mean, we promoted this about 3 years ago, but there was about 50% of the people against it.
No, but I'll give you a solution. I'll give you a solution. First of all, communication is only 7% text, 38% tonality, and the rest 55% is body language. So we are losing out the most important thing. I mean, the fellow who gives that feedback. But if I, for instance, say you were speaking, I have your permission to film you. I don't need the other idiot's permission. Like, you have the problem that you can't film anybody. But this is a private club, and we can say we only film those who wish to be.
Yes.
And we gave them it, and when they say it's okay, then I'll put it on any social media or not.
And I think that for those,
because
and
I think
I think the Doc's right. Rather than film the whole meeting, because you can understand people saying not. I think eventually you will get those that don't want to be videoed to see the benefit, because if you, Peter has videoed your speech on Monday at A1, the Doc did the speech that I did on Tuesday at A1. Now we will both look at that and see what we win, but we will share that. I want people to look at that speech. It wasn't.
That's your choice to share it. Now everybody that comes to Toastmasters will have a phone where you can video. So you just take their phone, you video. It's ownership of that video.
Right.
What might happen to that video? But if you are just filming them on their phone and you give them their phone back, it's then their choice if they share it.
Exactly.
It's
and
their choice
I think
if
that's
they share
the thing,
it.
and I think that if you give permission for a lot of those speeches, it's an opportunity to share it. So, but it's your choice. You're absolutely right. Say, well, I don't want to show you that video again. I want to work on it myself, and I'll do it again. Or I want to demonstrate on behalf of the club to say, use that to help promote the club, and then we'll put it out on the various social media channels where we're starting to promote it. But you're absolutely right. I think the point maybe Mick was is that to do the whole meeting.
But even just when we were talking about buying it, obviously it has to go.
This is the buying of it.
It had to go. It had to committee, and then it had to go to the members, and there was 50% of the members saying no, we don't want it videoed. So the committee then looked upon it at that time and said, we'll not buy the camera. Now, if you want it videoed,
you do
like
it
I did, I brought my camera and I said to Peter, video that for me, like I did with you, Steve.
Yeah.
I said, Steve, will
Yes.
you video
Oh,
this? And
I did.
you did a wonderful job of
My
forgetting.
nuts.
So it was absolutely tremendous. And I've now learned.
Oh, you're supposed to switch it on.
Yes.
Point it. I see.
You see, when I video somebody and I edit it, that's when I learn.
Well, of course it is.
Because in editing, you're seeing every micro nuance, every facial micro feature, every little gesture, micro gesture, every lip smacking.
Well, you know that. I mean, Mick knows that one of the things that I'm trying to sort out is the lips, and Simon always spots the lips, and I always get the little chitty at the end of the feedback. Lips is written on it. He doesn't need to write anything else. And I haven't had a chance.
You just
to see
mentioned
the,
this.
the docs video, but I said at the beginning, what was I looking to get out of it? And I've got to look at that. But I will get a. I didn't know how many times I did my lips the other night. But I will look at that video.
What do you mean lips? You bring lipstick along or something? Okay.
But when I look at that video, when I get the chance to get home this afternoon and have a look at it, I'll see how many times I do it. I can work on that. But I will probably also see other things. Because you don't seeing yourself.
So in the comments, why don't you say, and I do that funny lip movement 28 times? You see, if you point out your own faults,
Yes.
others get the courage to point out their faults. So in a group, there will be, it's like a bell's curve. Some people like me are desperate to be videoed, and some people wouldn't be videoed even if they were dead. You've just done the lip again.
Yes.
I enjoyed listening to the speeches from some of the students from overseas when I was at Toastmasters. When I was there. That was really, really nice. And that's what I miss. One of the things you asked me about, Seychelles miss. I mean, at the international school there, we taught 38 different nationalities.
Wow.
And it was really great, you know. And the local children who went there, you know, were able to go there, could have sleepovers, you know, in different places, and they learnt about the world. And that was really nice.
Because, as you said, the world came to them.
That's it. That was really nice at Toastmasters to listen to some of the experiences of people from other countries.
It's a great
and it's a learning curve.
It's a great night's entertainment if you just do that, because anyone can come as a guest to come along to see whether it's for them, and we'd like more people to come and see what it's like. And it's 2 hours of good entertainment from listening to
and it's quite orderly. It's not like our show.
Yes.
Anything goes. You know, like.
Well, it's part of this of the roles of people like the Toastmaster, who's
Yes.
sort
So
of
people
MC
take
of
on
the meeting
roles
and
and.
take on-
I like the
it's-
structure of it,
Yes,
where
that
you
is-
shook hands to take over the
Yes.
different roles. That was
it's-
very
it's-
nice.
There's a lot of bits of discipline really being taught at that
Yeah.
stage. Is the
And-
politeness,
and-
discipline. But at the end of the day, if you're sitting listening to 3 speeches, people giving feedback about the speeches, the table topics, the education that I did the other night, which we sometimes have, you're going to sit there for 2 hours, and you're going to be. It's a good entertainment. And,
Now
then, and if you just want to go and be entertained, you can sit there. And you can go for 3 times to try it out, and then if you don't want to come back, don't come back. But if you think, well, I could do that speech, or I could get a bit better, then you join the club. It doesn't cost much to join. You go.
How
in.
much is it per year?
Well, you pay one off around about 30 quid to get the manuals, which guide you through the. And it's
£35 to get the manuals.
35.
3-5, yeah.
Yeah,
It's £10 a month.
for 2 meetings.
So £5 a meeting.
£5 a meeting.
And you got-
You've just mentioned
You
something
got tea and
there.
biscuits as well, and cake occasionally if it's Claire's birthday.
It's morbid. You never
Morbid.
get tea and biscuits.
You don't get tea and biscuits to the one.
Newcastle, no.
Then
it's-
you
I'd
want
rather go to
them.
Morbid, like. You know.
You mentioned table topics there. You see, now
Yeah.
you understand what table topics is, but maybe your listening audience don't
Tell
know.
them, what is
Well,
the. What,
table topics it's often talked about as the fun part of the night. I think the whole night's fun, but the table topics is potentially the most daunting bit, because you're giving a topic at no notice to talk about a topic, and you've got 1 to 2 minutes to talk
well,
about
I
it.
was filming the last time. They're all new to me except 1 or 2 people. And I was filming, and this guy says, come on, you come on the stage. And what did he give me? Camels.
Camels on
But
and Whitley Bay.
tell me why you've introduced camel rides on Whitley Bay Beach.
And I talked about camels in the West End, which obviously has some allusions to the people who live here. The Bactrian camel.
And Mick made the point.
You know, we had
Mick
fun,
made the
you know,
point
you
when he
play
was
on
trying to
words.
get, I
and-
think, as you said, is that if you've got to come up for a minute and you don't know anything about
And you
camels,
just-
talk about anything. Because
Anything.
it's an opportunity to come up and say something. For
But
2
isn't
minutes.
that an interview technique? I mean, don't you ask the
TV,
question
I
where
know.
you were born. I'm not telling you where I was born, but I can tell you where my mother was born. You can't do that at an interview.
The thing to do is one, you waffle for half of it. So you start saying, you put a question. Tell me about the camels on Whitley Bay. So the first thing you say is come back and say, fellow Toastmasters, table topics master, fellow Toastmasters and guests. There's 10 seconds waffle with that. Talking about camels on Whitley Bay Beach. is an interesting question. There's
Again,
another
you said
10 minutes.
nothing.
There's another 10 seconds.
However,
of
I
waffle.
prefer to talk about werewolves on the moon.
Yeah, so you talk about so then you talk about werewolves on the moon for 1 minute because you know all about werewolves.
And then you
on the
connect
moon.
that to the
And then
camels.
You say,
But they've eaten up all the camels.
and then a good speech finishes. Werewolves on the moon, camels on the beach. There's nothing in connection with them. End of. Great speech.
But the whole idea is the whole idea of table talks is to stretch you,
Yes.
not frighten you,
Yes.
to stretch you, and I always say it's like becoming a politician. How to answer a question
Without answering.
without answering
Yeah,
the
Like
question.
saying, that's a very
And
interesting
it's-
question.
And then you talk about
And he's speaking in the meantime, you know.
These skills that you learn at Toastmasters and other public speaking type clubs are the very skills that students don't have.
Mm.
The
Yes,
soft
the
skills.
soft skills.
The
Soft
soft
skills.
skills. So they're not able to conduct themselves coherently
Yep.
in an interview.
Or get up in class and ask a
Well,
question.
we're very keen to get more people. 18's the youngest you can be to come, and it's unfortunate because we've had some younger people wanting to come, but then there are other
Do you have a
opportunities.
junior section?
But you can.
Yes,
You
start
can,
the
you can
junior
do one,
section.
yes.
How
But
about-
the clubs at the moment, because of Toastmasters international rules, I think it's tied in with insurance in some ways. Because they
They have a Gavelers club.
yes, there is
Gav-
something
they-
different.
they-
Health
they-
and
they're
safety.
not-
The existing.
They're not a fully fledged Toastmasters club. They can never enter competitions except amongst themselves, but they are called Gavelers clubs.
Mhm.
And
What are they? Explain.
it's a name that Toastmasters International have given them for some reason.
But I
Given
think, I
who?
think the
Given
point
clubs,
is that even
clubs that can't charter and be a fully fledged club because they put the age group on 18, so it's people who are, want to attend clubs and are under 18, and also clubs whereby people might not be able to afford to pay the dues and get the booklets. They will not become a fully fledged club, but they can still take part.
That microphone
But I
is very
think
sensitive.
the thing is that even if you are 18 and you're maybe still at school, it's a good time to get involved because it is going to help you
So
when
why
you go
don't
to
you
university. or
set
when-
up a school project, you know?
I'm happy with that.
You see, I've
It's-
tried all that in the other one. In the other one, I was the first fellow who actually recorded anything. I was the first fellow who filmed anything. It's that microphone. Who filmed anything. And though we used to bring people to Excelsior Academy, there was something missing. We went, just tap the microphone. That's it. Tap it harder. And again. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, Laila.
That's it.
Yeah,
No,
it's
Phil,
all, it's all,
Lila,
it's
don't
all,
Lila, I thought I saw the night in the light as I passed by the window.
I think it's all one step at a time. It's
Yes.
you know you get
But
the
schools
situation.
need it, you know, because
Oh, yes,
they'll be going
yeah.
for job interviews.
Yeah,
They don't make eye contact.
I think
they're
the
scared.
priority, I think, for most people in the group that we've got, the core of it is to get those two clubs established and getting the members coming. And then once you've got the membership growing, and you then people in there will say, well, let's do a different project and let's get a school one going, let's get a junior one. I want to get older people doing it because we'll get some people
We
that
can
are
get
older
some-
at the minute.
you can
But
go
there's
into
a
old
lot of-
people's homes.
There's a
and
lot
they're
of
going.
people that are going to like the Age UK functions
Yes.
where they're going for a lunch. They can
Yes.
do it there. You
Yes.
can run it at lunchtime. Your businesses could run it. There isn't any in this part of the
Well,
world. There
we've
is
got
one
no
in your
commercial, we've got no commercial clubs.
no,
up
no
here.
commercial clubs, but all over the world there are lots of companies that have a Toastmasters club and they meet at lunchtime, probably once a week for an hour. It doesn't have to be a 2-hour meeting like we have, and it's helping the staff to develop.
which reminds me, talking about all over the world, in Mumbai there are 6 or 7 just a minute clubs on Radio 4, which
Yes, Just
you
a
don't
Minute, yes.
get in Seychelles. In a conversation, say I'm the administrator, I'll say talk about schools.
Yes.
So he can't repeat the same word
Yes.
twice, except
Famous
for
program, Radio
okay.
4, isn't it?
And then if you either there's interruption or repeating, then it passes to the next person, and it's quite interesting. It's another way of learning to speak spontaneously.
Mhm.
So we've come to the end of the show, and I want to play a song again. Today I'm in the song mood. See what you make
It's
of
been a
this.
very interesting show. We've gone all the way through, and thank you for coming in.
And we know where Seychelles
pleasure.
exists.
I now know exactly 5,240 miles away from where we're sitting now. See you next time. I'm away next week. Angus is in.
To get a tan, pouring oil upon their face just like a frying pan. Funny thing about it is they all go rosy red. Next day when the feeling starts, they're crying in their bed. Oh, to be in England. That spring is here.
I dreamt of it.
Oh, to be in England. Drink in English beer. Boiled potatoes, roast beef, and a Yorkshire pudding too. That is all you'll ever find upon a set menu. They don't know that I can make an Anglo-English fry. Tell me, have you ever heard of snake and kidney pie? Oh, to be in England. Now that spring is here. Oh, to be in England. Drink an English beer. British people watching television every day. When the kiddies go to bed, they show a sexy play. They don't know that washing powder showing on the screen, turning colored clothing into white you never seen. Oh, to be in England.
So that's a song called Acha England from Radio Sri Lanka, Radio Ceylon.
Thank you so much.
I hope you enjoyed that. It was specially dedicated to you to come back to England drinking English beer.
Sick of the same old radio sound? Then you need vibrant radio. Spice up your life. Spice FM 98.8 FM.
Very good timing, because one of the things that we'll talk about during the show today, we've got a packed show. I'll tell you about in a moment.
Go on then, tell us
but we're also going to talk about Toastmasters, because you and I came with me to Morpeth, Castle Communicators in Morpeth on
Methodist
Tuesday.
Community
Methodist
Church and Community Service.
That's centre in Morpeth, yes. Howard Road, Morpeth.
Beautiful.
They meet every second and fourth Tuesday. We had a good meeting on Tuesday. You came up. You've done a video of about a talk that I did,
yes.
I think, which is out on Facebook. We'll have
yes,
people have a look at that. We'll send that out later on. But one of the things you learn in Toastmasters is timing, isn't it? If you're going to do a 7-minute speech or a 2-minute table topics, or as I did, a 15-minute education speech,
because all the time you have on the planet is between your birth and your death.
Yes.
How you manage it is the question.
Exactly.
Do you fritter it away?
But it's almost, I mean, one of the things that in speaking in general, I get involved with Professional Speaking Association as well, which I'm a member of, and professionals, one of the key things you have to do is get the timing right, because if you're booked for a big conference and they say you're doing
but
45 minutes, you can do 45 minutes.
Timing is very important, whether you're cracking a joke,
yes,
or whether you're doing a surgical operation,
yes. Oh, absolutely,
or you're doing other very exciting activities. It's the timing,
and it's very difficult to gauge. And I think you see people doing talks where they think they've done 2 minutes and they've done 5, or they've done 10 and they've
but when you're excited and worried,
that's it.
I mean, even now when someone as seasoned as you and slightly less seasoned as me who go to Speakers Club, they're quite excited.
Yes.
Yeah, and there's no clock on the other wall, which I think there should be. I mean, you've done right there, because you got 3 colored cards, yes, like football grounds. At our Speakers Club that I used to be on, a light comes on.
Yeah.
So you're speaking blindly for 6 minutes. You don't know how the head is going, and suddenly the green light comes on. Half a minute orange.
Yeah.
Then you start winding up, but you may not have gone through your points.
Well, this is the importance of practice, isn't it, with speaking, because you really should be doing that testing before you get to the speech, so that you're ready, and you should know that. I mean, one of the key things about speaking, and you learn this through Toastmasters, is the structure of your speech. You have an open, a middle, and a close. And the key thing
so
is...
So you say, I'm going to tell you about mosquitoes.
Let's tell.
You tell them about mosquitoes.
And then you tell
and may not be polite
out.
to crack sexual jokes in front of the bishop's wife.
Yes.
It may not be opportune. But equally, you gauge the social setup. You find out what it is. And sometimes I go totally against it, I mean, I won a prize through the other club, which I've become totally disloyal to because it's too far away. And, I get sick of a group, the same people talking the same thing. What the hell am I killing myself for? Loyalty I have to a human being. If I'm in love, that's it. But I can't go to the same speakers club and find the same people talking the same subject. And the one I went to...
Because you've been going there for a lot of years, haven't you?
But 3 years is a long time in my life.
Yeah. Well, the turnover in a lot of speakers clubs, I mean, we've been going, as you mentioned, there 6 years. But I think what part of the fun in my involvement in speaking is to develop more people.
So in development is
so
change.
It's different. You get new members coming in all the time to all the clubs. We're starting new clubs. You know, the A1 was the original. Followed from that was a club in Durham, which I was involved with a little bit to help them get going. There's another club in Sunderland called Talk and Shop. Meet on the first and third Thursdays at Fulwell.
So you purposely organize them so you can go daily to a club.
I don't do that, but I think
whoever does it, it's a bit like the Alcoholics Anonymous. You can go to Waka one, then you can go to the Benwell one, then you can go. I'm just imagining. I've never had an alcohol problem.
You can go every night. You know, just about every night of the week, and there's clubs.
Yes.
What I've talked about the other night.
That's why I mentioned the Alcoholics Anonymous. That if you want to give up alcohol, you can get addicted to Alcoholics Anonymous. It's wrong way to say alcoholics, you know. It sounds bad. The other thing about Speakers Club is you develop a vocabulary. By that I don't mean you know the word. It's actively using it.
Yes.
There are many words in poetry, engineering, that are not my fields, that I understand. But it's a bit like coming from India. We can all understand English. But when we talk, it's very hard for you to catch on because the idiom is wrong. I put the verb in the wrong place. You understand?
Yes.
You understand?
Exactly what you say.
Yeah. So you have to catch up. You've got a very well-spoken gentleman.
I'm not going to even mention it until I've said what my thing that I'm going to.
Oh yeah, tell us about your flaws
because I have
that you want to work on.
It's a visual one with me. I do things with my lips. So when you look at the video, I purse my lips. I think like that. When I've finished sentences. So I need to work on that. So the beauty of that is that the video you've taken, and we also will look to develop. You know, other speakers do will video them.
Each thing. It's all right to watch a DVD and have a tear in your eye.
Yes.
But to watch. Anyway,
we've got a guest.
The best purpose of speaking is to listen, and we've got someone who's been quietly listening and who's been taught. Speak when you're asked to. So
I'll introduce our guest for today, and I think we've got another one coming, hopefully, in a while. But it's a very special week for this guy, and he's been on the show before. You'll recognise him when he does open his mouth.
Yeah, but first he has to wash his mouth with soap because he's been to the BBC.
BBC has been the BBC.
Shame on you! Shame on you! Shame on you!
So
okay, carry on, Phil.
A next guest as well.
Yeah, okay, carry on.
Phil is going to tell you what he's going to tell you, and alongside Phil, who's going
what do you think? This is Clapham Junction or what? Look at all these characters just barging in.
Ricky as well.
You don't invite the guys; they just walk in. What do they think this is?
Our other guest, which was expected, is Hazel Ditchburn from the Calvert Trust.
Okay, what we'll have to do is
Tricky Mickey's just come in.
Tricky Mickey is Rick Mickwood, isn't it?
Rick Mickwood, or
is he Mick Rickwood? Or Rick Mickwood?
Yes.
Okay, anyway,
would you get a chance? Which is Sunday, because it's a great day, because it's the Great North Run, and Hazel's here, and my little team running to support the Calvert Trust. We've been raising money for the Calvert Trust all year. But that event is even more special this year because my son and I started a business about a year ago. Steve has been involved, he's been helping us. My eldest son has cerebral palsy, he's disabled, he's a quadriplegic, and we want to improve accessibility for people like Tom at an affordable level. So we have developed, generated a couple of products which will allow people like Tom to have improved access to beaches, access to all terrain, even the snow, because a couple of years ago he was stranded for a month at his home in Long Framlington. So we are going to push him. We have a prototype. It's not a prototype, but it is. It's a finished version, but it's the first to be seen on the roads. Tom's going to be on it. It's called Nomad. It's our second product, and we're calling it Nomad Desert. His wheelchair will actually fit on it, and we will go 13.1 miles with him. In addition to this week, I'm looking at Steve because he's probably going to tell me off because I have been on the radio a few times this week. What am I meant to say that's special this week besides this lovely lady sitting next to me?
Well, you're also going to go to South Blythe on Saturday with the same device.
Okay, he's prompted me. I should have remembered. We have a trial.
Okay.
So it's often to look at it yourself. You know, you're getting...
Yeah. I only do it...
That's a one.
But tell me why people in England particularly, who are in Speakers Club learning to do public speaking, are so bloody scared of being videoed. What the heck?
I haven't got a clue. I think it's...
what kind of nonsense is this? You know, forget your club. I went to the 280 people in Bristol. Mm-hmm. These are the top speakers of the country for the Tyneside Speakers Association, blah, 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 blah. 7 people came on the stage. 5 of them I had to convince them that it is okay to video. And they're not 16-year-old girls who I'm going to curb, crawl or groom, These are fat, ugly people who are speaking well. I'm videoing them and the buggers mind,
You see that they've escaped from prison or something like that. So
Well,
they
no,
don't want to be
well,
seen. Is that not what it is?
I said to a fellow, I'm going to video you. And what are you going to do with it? He's a Glaswegian. I said, I'll...
Is that Glaswegian actually?
Sort of. Some stupid Scottish accent. So the guy says to me, you'll put it on YouTube. I said, yes, but I'm very ugly. I said, that you are.
Yes.
But you speak well.
Yes.
If anyone deprecates themselves, I go one step further and put the knife in. Then they'll never do it again.
Yes. Well, I think it's the whole idea is you're boosting people. If you can get the confidence out there, and people
so the Speakers Club is not about speaking, really.
It's confidence.
It's about expression. It's about learning. It's about confidence.
Yes.
And I think if you don't
developing
come...
leadership as well, because you can take on roles of committee roles in the club to help it to grow. You can take on tasks.
No, but most people do not like these roles because they can't speak in public.
Oh, yes.
They're scared. Absolutely. They can write in public.
The thing is that the beauty of Speakers Clubs, Toastmasters, is that you've got a chance to practice because you become friends. If you're going regularly, the people that are there become friends, and you're more comfortable speaking in friends. You get that confidence that you're more relaxed and you'll be prepared. And that's the best place to practice. If you've got a job where you're going to be speaking in the outside world, then it's for your job, or if you're gonna speak more publicly or do a speech at a wedding, perhaps, or something like that. It's best to practice amongst friends where they'll give you.
So it's like a workshop.
It is. Yeah. It's self-help. You're going back to Alcoholics Anonymous. It's not exactly the same, but the concept of people there helping each other to become better communicators.
And openly saying that there was a chap who
stammers. Well, yes, Alan's done really well. He's been involved with the clubs for several years, and he's really improved.
I learned to be patient with him.
Yes.
It's like the King's Speech. Then you say, I've told you about mosquitoes.
But the thing is that you get to you should be in a point when you've practiced to be doing that final thing with less than 30 seconds left, or you should know that you should be starting.
So what are your flaws that you want to work on? I'll tell you mine first.
Go on.
My biggest thing, I don't pause enough. Because it's only when my mouth is shut.
That's quite rare, isn't it?
But it never happens. That people process what's going on.
Can we tell them about the journey to Morpeth? Because due to your mouth not shutting, we ended up in Scotland.
Well, I'm such a fascinating guy. So pause is one of the most important things I have to learn.
Yes.
Because I live in England. Indians speak very fast and we talk like this all the time. Yes. I mean, if you try to copy the Hindi news, you talk in this speed.
Geordies are quite
because
fast
there's almost that the world is going. But important things can be said slowly.
Exactly.
And when you pause, people think that's one thing.
But it's getting the right length of pause, because and that again is something you practice. For anybody that wants to develop this is Toastmasters is ideal. There's obviously the club we're talking about here, Castle Communicators in Morpeth. The original club that I started in 2009 is a Newcastle thriving club now called A1 Speakers.
So that's 6 years now.
Yes, 6 years. They've been a juries in on the first and
third Mondays.
So anybody's welcome to go along as a guest. You go along as free as a guest, see what it's like. People get the idea of Toastmasters being stuck up and red coats, and it couldn't be further from
and it's nothing to do with toast or bread or butter.
Nothing to do with toast, bread, or telling people that the dinner's ready.
Yes,
and my lords, ladies and gentlemen, never get said. There is nobody ever starts to speak.
My
lords, ladies and gentlemen, pray silence. Your Toastmaster. Never ever said.
Okay. So I was telling about pause is one thing I'm working on. The one thing I have succeeded in working on. It's so easy for me go and bamboozle everyone with medical science.
Oh yes.
So I choose topics that are away from science and slightly risky. I choose topics like racism.
Never. Have you talked about racism?
Yeah, the other club.
Never heard you about racism.
Yeah, I even risk into risky subjects, risk subjects.
Well, it challenges the mind when you're provoked, doesn't it? That's because if you just brush it under the carpet, we're not going to talk about racism. Same with disability. We've talked about. We can't talk about disability. That it's taboo, and it's best to talk about it and get people's feelings.